Hail and well met, my fellow Hearthstone players, and welcome to a super special Hearth Coach, the podcast that can help you be legendary. I'm your host, Dan, and this is my co host, Fred.
Hello, everybody.
He is a player of Legend Rank, and I have convinced him to coach me and record it in podcast form and put it out there so as to hopefully help some more of you make it to Legend also. Okay, I've thought I might try and do a little more improving with it tonight, but yeah, I'm a little too nervous to do too much improving with the intro this evening.
I think you nailed it, Dan. It looks like
I'm
you've done that about
sufficient.
155 other times. So
At least
He
156 now.
Intro. That's great. He coaches you on everything.
Yeah, exactly.
and that voice you hear, and for those of you that can see, is our very special guest for this third-year anniversary stream, all the way from Blizzard headquarters, Mr. Dave Kosak. How are you?
Hello. Glad to be here. This is super fun. Thanks for having me.
Oh, glad to have you, sir. We've been it's been a little while in the making, and we're just so glad you're here. Okay, so do you want to kick things off, my friend, or do you want to shall I start off with questioning our guest, or
No, I
do you
can,
want to?
I can do it. I can
Okay.
get us going here. So again, thank you.
Thank you so much.
What we wanted to do first is maybe for our listeners and viewers, tell us a little bit about what your role is at Blizzard and Hearthstone specifically.
Yeah. I am the lead mission designer for the Hearthstone team. So the mission team, every Hearthstone expansion now has single player content associated with it, and the mission team puts that together. So that's things like the Knights of the Frozen Throne, the Ice Crown missions that we had where you fought against the Lich King. That was our mission team putting that together. And now this time around with Kobolds and Catacombs, we had the Dungeon Run, which we're extremely proud of, and I got a really good response so far. So we're really happy about that. But that's what my team puts together. So that we write all the voiceover, all the crazy little boss things that happen, all those encounters. If you disliked the Lich King, that's our fault. So,
No, I thought the Lich King.
No, that was a tremendous fun. Going through that and all the videos and whatnot of the Lich King and everything leading up to that were pretty tremendous also. So exactly what now? What does it take exactly? Like, can you go into a little bit of the process of what it takes to develop one of these missions? Who comes in with ideas about this? Is it more of a group? Sit down and hash out ideas, see what you come up with, or is there something where like you come into the room and go, okay, well, this is what I want to do. What do you think?
Everything on the Hearthstone team, and actually this is true of Blizzard in general, it's a very, very collaborative process. We have a motto here at Blizzard that every voice matters. And so we are constantly running play tests and showing stuff, even when it's really rough. You want to show it to the whole team, get everybody's input, and often show it to other teams. The Overwatch team is right down the hallway, so sometimes we show stuff to them. I think they have Hearthstone players on the team. So it's all very collaborative. So there's no a guy sitting down in a room saying this is what we're doing. But with the Dungeon Run in particular, this was tricky for us because it was, we didn't have anything else like that before. And so we had to kind of explore it for a while before we were certain. And with the Dungeon Run, we did a lot of prototypes, like really early prototypes to figure out what was going to work for us and what wasn't going to work. The very first prototype was, it was like all in one game. You would play, if you beat the boss, then the game wouldn't reset. Like it would just reset the boss health and reshuffle your cards back in and be like, okay, now you're in the second game. But it only had five fights, and the fifth fight was with Jiraxis, and it was insanely unfair. It was so difficult. He was just casting Infernals from turn one, and you're like, what am I going to do here? But even then, even with as terrible as that prototype was, it was super fun. And so we thought like, hey, this is going to work. If we like put our resources into this, we can actually make this happen. And so that was something we had a bunch of the designers play. We had the whole team play, and everybody was bought on board that this was going to be cool. And then we started fleshing it out. And every Hearthstone comes out with an expansion every 4 months or so. So we have a really tight timetable to answer all these questions as to like, how big should the dungeon run be? How many bosses should there be? How difficult should it be? And we'd answer those questions very quickly. So it was a whole lot of play testing. It was build something, see if it works, build something, see if it works. 5 bosses we thought wasn't enough. So then we did a prototype that was 10 fights. And by the 10th fight, your deck was really huge and it wasn't as fun. It felt you were kind of like, the peak seemed to be around 8 fights, seemed to be about right. So it's, we kept experimenting until we hit the one that sort of as a group we decided was just the right balance. As for the bosses, there are 48 different encounters in the dungeon run. And that ended up being a little easier than I thought it would be. I thought figuring out those bosses was going to be really difficult, and we end up cutting a lot of them. But ultimately what happened is, we cut a few that just weren't fun at all. But usually if they were just too difficult, we put them later in the dungeon. If they were too easy, we just moved them up earlier in the dungeon. And sort of that way it was sort of the difficulty out. And it actually worked out. So most of the encounters we developed ended up in the dungeon in some format or another. Some of them, if we thought it was really, really weird, we ended up making a super rare encounter. So there's some rare encounters in there. But yeah, it ended up being a lot of fun. Super iterative process and very, very collaborative.
So that those difficult ones must explain the darkness that always gets me. Because you said casting Infernals, he's casting 5/5s.
yeah.
Wow.
So with so much, obviously it's a lot of work going into these. How far in advance are you? I got kitties here. How far in advance are you guys looking ahead and working on future missions?
Yeah, I can't really.
I know you can't go into too much details or anything.
I can't speak to our schedule, but usually we're kind of simultaneously working on 3 expansions at once. It's really the cadence. When you come out with something every 4 months, it means you're always working on the next thing down the line and the next thing down the line and the next thing down the line. Fortunately, at this point, we got the Hearthstone process down enough that we sort of know at this point we need to have the art figured out. At this point, we need to get the voiceover figured out. At this point, we need a final balance at this point. And our producers are really on the money with that, making sure that the train keeps moving. Because as soon as you finish something, the next expansion is coming right along.
Yeah. So you guys are staying busy there.
Yeah.
Very busy.
Did you have a hand on, the treasures, those special cards you get in the dungeon run, or is that a different team?
No, that's the mission team. And I give a shout out to Paul Nguyen, is one of our mission designers, and he was really kind of on this from the very beginning, and was really a genius with. I mean, he's like a top 50 arena player. He's really good. And I don't like me. I'm like a rank 15 player, but Paul's good, which is good. He's on the team, so he can make sure. And he just has an instinct for coming out with stuff that sounds overpowered and but still has really good gameplay. And so he put the treasures together. We experimented a lot with treasures. It was one of the things we kept iterating on the most. One thing we found early on was that those what we call them passive treasures, the ones that are always in effect, like the double battle cry or the captured flag, all minions have +1/+1. Those are so powerful that if you were given a choice between that and an active one, like the bag of stuffing that fills your hands, even though the bag of stuffing is really powerful, you would always pick the passive one because it's just always useful. So we ended up, our solution to that was we grouped the treasures together. So you always choose from among passive treasures, and then you always choose from among active treasures. And that worked out really well. It means you always have these really agonizing choices of what are my treasures going to be.
Oh yeah.
I give Paul a lot of credit for really kind of masterminding that. Again, it's a very collaborative process. So we had the initial designers involved, we had the final designers involved. Everybody had an opinion, but ultimately the mission team kind of tried to figure out what we want to do and get it up there.
That's pretty cool. I had a curiosity there. When you're designing the missions, does it influence the cards that are going to go into the set or vice versa, or those are independent? Like maybe there's some kind of card that you want as part of the set, but you're like, oh, that's gonna mess up with my mission the way I designed it, or how does that work?
Let's see. So obviously, I mean, the collectible cards are more important. They're like going forward. That's part of the game, like forever. You know, that's gonna. So they take priority. So sometimes they need to do a card swap, and they need art or something. So they grab something from the mission team, and we're like, that's totally fine. We'll work around it at that point because we want the collectible set to be as awesome as possible. And also for that reason, if they tweak a mechanic in a certain way, then we'll go back and fix the mission if it relied on that mechanic. That's easy for us, and it's more important that the set is balanced correctly. But it is really nice. I mean, we sit right next to each other, so we're constantly both playing each other's stuff and talking about cards. And what is nice about having the mission team now is sometimes there's resources to draw from. Like if they really need to replace a card, there might be some cards that we've already done for missions that they can grab, and vice versa. If they have a mechanic that's like, no, this is too powerful, like we can't ship that card, we might grab it for the missions and say like, oh, we'll just make a treasure out of it. It'll be great. It's overpowered. That's awesome. It's broken. We'll use it. Yeah. So it's really good. We get a lot of nice synergy there, working really closely with that team.
That's cool.
Okay. Yeah. Excellent. So it's so the way you can draw off of, like, I don't know if it like extras or stuff people have been working on, almost like a musician's stack of riffs they pull from to work on songs or something. You guys have like mechanics and different things you can pull from different teams and whatnot to work in.
Right. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. Very collaborative again, like I said.
That's pretty cool. Did you want to ask this next one, Dan?
Sure. Now with the dungeon runs are mad fun.
Watch your
but
back.
I wish there was more rewards for them. We have like one. I think there's a quest you can do to generate to help be it repeatable. But man, I wish there was like a way you could like maybe generate a little more gold or get a pack or something for, completing all 9 on a run or something. I don't know if you have any input on that kind of stuff or if you have an opinion or anything.
Well, I'm glad you asked, because it's okay. As a game designer, like figuring out the rewards is one of the most difficult things. There's that great experiment, I'm sure you heard of this, where they take 2 rooms of kids, and they have all art supplies and crayons and paper, and one group of kids, they tell them, you can draw pictures, go, whatever, it's fun. And the other group, they say, we'll give you a quarter every time you draw a picture. And both rooms will draw a whole bunch of stuff. And if you take away the quarter, you say like, okay, guys, no more quarter. They're done drawing. They won't draw anymore. And then if you ask them if they enjoyed the drawing, the people that were doing it for free, just for fun, had more fun with it. They enjoyed it more. And so it's a weird experiment, but it goes to the psychology of rewarding it. Broadly speaking, there's like 3 groups of players. There's players that are having a lot of fun with the dungeon run. There's players that were having fun with the dungeon run, but now they're kind of done with it. And there are players that just would never play single player content. They just don't like single player content. They're like, I want to play arena. I want to be on the ladder. And we have to try and come up with a reward that makes sense for all of them. So we went really conservatively. We reward you for trying it out. Like, so there's a couple quests in there that just give you. You don't even have to be good at the dungeon. Just try it out. Have a taste. And even the third group, even if you hate Dungeon Run, and some of them might still complain, but even if you don't like it, it's not that hard to get those quests and complete those quests in the Dungeon Run. And so that's the main reward. Everybody can get that. Just give it a taste, give it a try. But then there's something else. The only reason to do Dungeon Run is if you really enjoy Dungeon Run. And I think that's powerful to say, like, as soon as you're done with this, as soon as you feel like, I've done it, I'm kind of tired of dungeons, you don't have to do them anymore, because there's really nothing there, holding you to do it, right? It also let us make the dungeon runs really difficult. We can make them really challenging. It let us make the dungeon runs, have these random spikes of just crazy difficulty, because, like, what's at stake? It's just a fun story, right? Is all that's at stake when you play the dungeon run.
Okay.
Now, I say that, I don't know that that's the right answer. I'm not saying that that's the right thing to do. But definitely I prefer to have that happen, where people like you are like saying, hey, it's super fun, I kind of want a reward. I'd rather have that happen than have a whole bunch of people saying like, I hate dungeon runs. You make me do one every day. You know,
yeah, I know there is that.
Get into that situation.
That,
and you know, the heart of Hearthstone is really playing online with other people.
Yeah.
It's really kind of where the action's at. So you know, we want people to kind of eventually move back over there. So you know, we're constantly talking about it. And one of the things with, you know, Kobolds and Catacombs is we put it out there and let's see how people react. Let's see what happens. And so we're watching this really closely, and you know, maybe that'll affect what we do in the future. But it's a great question. I'm glad you asked it, because we're asking ourselves that, and we're constantly asking, did we do the right thing or not? So you know, it's good. It's good to hear the different.
Because I'm not sure. I feel like I'm kind of representative of the player base. I don't know how broadly or whatever, and I know that I really enjoy them, but a little bit of a try hard, and I only have so much time, and it's like. And it's a little. I get a little bit torn, but I guess it's not like the worst thing in the world. It's like, how do I want to have fun?
Well,
I want to.
We did throw in a quest. It's sort of in the normal quest rotation.
Yes, it is.
You can get hacked. So that's kind of like if you're sort of in that first or second category, and that quest pops up, and you'll be like, oh, you know, I wasn't going to do a dungeon run today, but that'd be kind of fun. So
I completely understand how it is so hard to balance that out.
I got that quest today, so I hadn't done some in a while, and I got back in there. Now, not that you're asking for ideas, but I did have a couple that I run by you, and that is, could you get maybe 10 gold for completing 5 or something like that, you know? With the same cap as you have in the dailies. This is just me throwing ideas out there. And then maybe also the ability to complete your... your quests, like play 30 demon cards or whatever. Maybe you can add that there. Yeah. Just thoughts.
That's tricky. We talked about quests quite a bit. Generally, and this has been true of the old adventures as well, you don't get quest credit for the single player stuff, because we really want you to be, playing against other people and use those. So the majority of quests move you to play against other people. I think we'll probably keep it that way. I think that's probably the right call. Gold for the dungeon, that's tricky, because if it's more efficient than playing against people, which probably it would be, because, the AI takes its turn right away, then that would steer you away from the ladder. And actually, one thing, the worst possible case would be to say, like, oh, I want to play multiplayer, but it's more rewarding to play the single player. Like, that would be the worst case for us. So we'd have to be really careful about stuff like gold.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
It's tough. It's a tough call. I'm not saying we did the right thing. But
all things considered, I'm not sure what else you could really could have done. So, thanks for answering the question. Appreciate it.
I got one here that I think is interesting. I was reading out there that you, sir, may be involved or even responsible for Patches the Pirate. So I want to know if it's true, and we want some explanations here.
It's sort of true.
Sort of true.
But like I said, everything's very collaborative here. So the reason that came up is there was I was still working. I came to Hearthstone from the World of Warcraft team. I spent 8 years working on World of Warcraft as a lead quest designer and then lead narrative designer. And so the brainstorming for the Mean Streets of Gadgetzan was going on. I was still in the World of Warcraft team, but they brought me over for a brainstorming session. And I think it was as we were getting up to leave, I was like, what you guys got to do? We have these observer demons in World of Warcraft that look like beholders. They have the giant eyeball and the eyeballs everywhere. I'm like, you got to totally have an observer pirate, and he's got patches all over his face. That would be really cool. And I got a big laugh, and then it ended up going all the way through. It ended up being this. And I guess.
So you're responsible for how he looks.
Yeah. The other half of it is they had this mechanic of, hey, whenever you play an X, and in this case it ended up being pirate, we'll have this guy come in out of your deck, which is a super fun mechanic, but it's a little bit crazy.
It is.
And so that's where Patches came from. And I don't know whose idea it was. He launches out of a cannon. That is brilliant.
That is amazing.
So Patches ended up making it all the way through, and I think Matt gave me credit in an interview. But, it's a super collaborative process. So, You never know whose Dhelmite ends up being a nefarious legendary.
Did you
Well,
have
maybe
a
they were just trying to get some of the heat off of them. Actually, this guy over here.
It was all Dave.
Pin it on Dave? Yes.
Yeah.
Did you have any say on his entrance and the voiceover? I'm in charge now.
I actually wasn't on the team until we were getting ready to ship Mean Streets of Afghanistan. So I threw out that idea, and then like weeks and weeks later, I'm like, oh my god!
Oh wow, look at that!
Yeah,
they took me seriously.
I know. Right? That idea went through. Crazy.
So do you have like a favorite card or class in the game? I know you're doing a lot of the mission design stuff, but do you have a favorite card or class?
I've always been a big fan of Priest, and Year of the Mammoth has been very good to Priest, so that's been a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
You should be really happy with the current meta.
Yeah, it almost now that it's like a meta defining thing, like now I'm less interested. Like, it was more fun when no one liked Priest, and I was like the hipster,
when he was the underdog.
Priest, Anduin with a beard and a flannel, yeah, the hipster Priest. But Dragon Priest. I really enjoy playing Dragon Priest, and that deck is still holding up. So that's a lot of fun. Favorite card. It's tough to say. I always love cards that tell a story. So like in Gadgetzan, I always love the Daring Reporter because she's like snooping on you with a notebook, and every time you draw a card, she gets stronger. And so there's a little story there, like, oh, I really want to do this card draw, but that snooping reporter is over there. So I love, cards that have like a little mini story to them. I think out of Kobolds and Catacombs, though, it's got to be the Carnivorous Cube. Just so much fun to eat a minion, and then there's 2 minions now. What happened? Who knows? Who knows what happens inside the cube?
Yeah, the art for that one is pretty cool too. He's got like a cigar going. It's like
the art rules. Yeah, if you look closely at the art, it looks like a cigar. He's really he's munching on a flail.
Okay. I thought he had like a cigar.
He's like, but it looks like a cigar. It's hysterical. The artist just killed that one. Super fun. That's and the Cobalt, of course, is floating in the back. Yeah.
Well, I know you're running from meeting to meeting, so we're kind of running out of time here. We did want to know if you had a poem, because I know you're into poems. You read one in the release of Kobolds, right, on stage.
I did. Actually, that was something we'd written early on while we were in development to just sort of get the character of the Kobolds and Catacombs about. And that's in the BluesCon feed. There was another one that I wrote. This is if we got like a minute or so. There's another one that I wrote. I posted this on Reddit the day that the expansion came out. That was a lot of fun. So this is about the darkness.
All right.
Dinur the Kobold, short but stout, checked his gear and then set out. One dirk, one buckler, leather vest, fat loots below his driving quest. His candle burned both bright and fair upon his noggin, just stuck there. Its flame provided some protection against the dark and vivisection. Past trolls and lava tunnels wended, past ooze and furbogs he descended. What's that he saw upon the floor? A coin of gold, and there's more. Greedily he ventured deeper. Is that a gem? Oh, that's a keeper. With trembling hands and hearts aflutter, he failed to see his candle sputter. Past the dragon he crept and snuck. His dazzled eyes beheld his luck. Chest overflowed. Are those spell stones just sitting there among these bones? Loaded up with treasure dear, he ventured back in all good cheer. He didn't even start to doubt until his candle sizzled out. Dirk in hand, he felt his way through tunnels dark and eerie gray. On something wet his fingers caught. Is that a mouth? His final thought. There you go. It's about the kobolds. Dark.
That was awesome. Well
Thank
done.
you. That was
I guess the fact that the kobold is named Dinur gives away the ending.
Dinner.
Yeah.
There's one last question that my listeners would not let me finish this without asking, and that is, can you tell us what the next expansion is going to be?
Oh, guys, we're losing signal. I don't know. The Wi-Fi here is getting really
No, not now.
Yeah. We're going to have to get out of here.
No.
Good. It was good talking to you. Good.
Well, Dave, I
you.
really appreciate you
Thank
taking
you so
your time.
much, friend, for coming and helping us open up our 3rd-year anniversary show.
Hey,
It's been so much fun.
And years is fantastic.
Yeah, keep going, keep up the good work, the hard work you're putting in. You're killing it. We love this game. We've been talking about it for 3 years and hope to keep talking about it.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on. This is super fun. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All right.
I think we'll.
Did you go? Okay.
Yeah, I'll hang him up so that he's not in there anymore. Okay. Whew. Well, we made it, Dan.
Yeah, we did.
Whew. So,
woo-hoo.
I don't even know what to say now.
That went pretty well.
That was fun. He's super awesome. So,
I got a little lost there for a moment with when I was trying to make pulling the guitar riff analogy.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
I had something there for a moment, but I got a little bit lost with it.
Yeah, the musician. It's all good.
Yeah. Anyway, my ADD. I'm happy. My ADD dyslexic self did not derail us any more than I did. Yeah. I'm real happy.
I apologize. Right now, the stream Dan looks split in half.
Okay.
Because of the way the camera is set up.
Did I talk over him at all at the end? Because
I
my
don't think
earbuds
so.
cut out.
I might
for a
have,
moment.
but
okay.
I love the whole. Everybody, I saw the chat go react to his explanation on the dungeons and why there's no rewards and my ideas for rewards and why they don't make sense. Like they really think about all this stuff where we're just kind of spitballing it here. We're not game designers. It's like we think, where's my reward? And then they're like thinking of the entire picture. So it's pretty neat to break it down that way.
Okay.
I'm getting word here from my friends at Hero Power that they're ready to go. Should we just bring him on? They're gonna be our next guest. Or do you need?
Sure, why not? Let's do it.
All right, let me see here. Add people to this call. So let me see.
We got all three?
Yeah, I don't know how this is gonna work.
Hey, it's gonna be a party around here tonight.
I'm doing a.
Oh man, and I had a cat trying to attack me during the middle.
Oh. Let me see what happens.
Somebody was wanting up in my lap, and I don't know. I came across the desk one time.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna cut that one, Dan, and release it as a video of its own, because that's a good one.
Oh, yeah, sure. However...
I'm trying to get him in here, but is Avanti's out there?
I'm here, gentlemen. How are you?
Oh, there you are.
All right.
So how do we... hold on. How are we going to get all of you in here? Can you add...
Come on. Can't you do it?
Ronnie.
I'm no Avantis with the production, so I've never had so many people at the same time.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it live. That's right.
You should be able to add each person individually, I think.
Yeah. What's your Twitter? Hero Power?
Hero Power _cast.
_cast. Thank you. Let me see how I do this. All right, let me keep adding folks. I don't think I have Versika. You may have to add him on your side. Or maybe I do. Hold on. And Versika? No, I don't think I have Versika. That's Zeroshio?
There's Zeroshio.
Hey.
There he is.
Hey.
What's up, gang?
Oh, man. Feeling good. I think we had a pretty good interview with Mr. Kosak. I think it feels like it went pretty well.
Oh, it went awesome. I watched.
Did you get to see it? Okay.
Yeah, sure did. I thought his explanation on the rewards for dungeons was very fair and made a lot of sense.
Yep.
I mean, I'd like to see rewards too, but at the same time, at the cost of the community of the game, you know, you got that's a thin line. I think they're doing really well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was glad we asked the question. That was cool.
Okay.
He was wanting to get an explanation out there, so hopefully maybe we'll get a few hits. All right.
Okay.
We still live?
I think Versika's coming in. Yeah, no, we're still live. We're doing it live.
Right. We're doing this live.
The production is
all here.
The production is a mess right now.
All about the live.
So let's not.
We have made a mess. Look at that.
Let's not get into the production values because I'm trying to make it happen and I don't have time to make.
Hey, you know what? This will make a great audio podcast.
Right?
The
We're
stream.
primarily audio anyway.
Yeah,
so.
the stream is okay. So, how are you guys doing? Oh, look at this. Sarosho has props.
That's right. Happy 3rd year. Oh, man.
Man, how are you all? I feel like I've talked to Avantis and Saroshu like the other day because I was helping out with the UHL. Was that right?
Yeah, that was awesome to
yeah.
have you come in and help out, being able to shoutcast Versika's match.
Oh, yeah, and Versika was there in game, but I didn't see him or hear him, so... Yeah.
That's probably a good thing. We wanted to keep that PC.
It was a rough go. Yes. Understood.
So both of those mage games, Alaneth and Leroy were hanging out in the bottom of my deck.
Yep.
So there's the answer to your question, Fred. They were in the deck.
Yeah.
They just were nowhere to be seen.
Oh, that's right. That's my commentary. I'm like, where is... He cut the most important cards. No,
they were there. They just decided they didn't want to come out and play.
I think you asked me if he runs Alaneth. I'm like, I have no clue. You never know
Versika.
with Versika.
So did you like the Holy Wrath?
Oh yeah, we were going crazy with the Holy Wrath.
Yeah, we were going crazy. Chat was going crazy.
It was an interesting. I mean, that's sometimes what you got to do in those scenarios is add some spice to it because.
Did you guys watch Rod's stream at all?
No, I was too busy casting hours.
So afterwards. So I went back and watched Rod's afterwards, and when he laid his taunt and put the ancestral spirit on it, he was talking to his chat. He's like, "There's no way he goes over the top of this, right?"
Yes, there is a way.
I was just like, "Oh, there he is."
It's called.
Anyways,
it's called the Holy Wrath. Yep.
That's right. But we're here to talk about you guys.
Yep.
Congratulations on 3 years of Hearthstone's podcasting. That is just awesome.
I know.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And what an anniversary show it is, huh?
I mean,
you guys are our heroes.
Well, thank you. Very, very kind of you.
Well,
did I read somewhere that you guys haven't missed an episode?
That's correct.
Nope. Thanks to Fred. There's been a couple of days I've due to family emergencies I wasn't able to be around. So
100.
Yeah, we haven't missed a week.
And 56 consecutive weeks. It's like Cal Ripken of podcasting, my friend.
through holidays and Hurricane Irma.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Christmas. Every time there was something with Dan, let's be honest here, it's always Dan that had something come up.
Yeah.
Hurricanes, death in the family.
Now, before we get...
I would call in just put it out there. I would call in the community, and there was an abundance of responses of people wanting to say, "Yep, I'll help out." And it's like, "Yep, we pulled it off every time." So
that's awesome.
Yeah, the community is so cool.
This community is just unlike anything else. When you know the Hearthstone community is beyond giving, they're beyond friendly. I feel like the Hearthstone community is one of, if not the greatest gaming communities out there, and I feel like I could say that without thinking about it twice.
Yeah.
I've considered ourselves like just so fortunate that we just haven't really come across a lot of negativity. I think we've had one star review. I think from the chip eating incident or something like that.
Yeah, look how awesome.
Chipgate.
Look how awesome the community is. You guys even went and got somebody from Blizzard to come open for us. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, right? Because I just want to remind everybody, I think we're the only guests that contain a member of both the Hall of Champions and the Hall of Legends.
That's true. I know.
I know. Versika's really good at the game.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of tournaments, I gotta talk about you guys and your scheduling. You guys, I get to work at the theater on campus like twice a year, and can you imagine when the next show coming up? I forgot the name of it now.
The next patron tournament.
Yeah, the third there. Yeah. I was like, wait, there was something coming up. I'm looking through my emails, and I was like, oh, right, my one opportunity to make $15 an hour and work like a 14-hour shift, doing something I absolutely love and usually do for free. I'm like, guys, love you, man, but I figure I'll break it to them in person, so they.
We'll get you in. We'll get you in sometime.
It's all good. I was like,
so
I saw the date, but yeah, no, I'll get in there.
You guys,
we are going to take over take the Hearth Coach schedule, and we are going to do 4 this year with one every 3 months. So we are guaranteeing all our patrons 4 chances to compete, and then we may have other tournaments, other opportunities for some of the winners and whatnot. But we are guaranteeing 1 every 3 months.
Yeah. One thing I was going to say about you guys, I remember when you guys started, you had a rotation of 9 shows, 9 classes, and the 10th show was like bring in a guest or some other special. And I think we were the second, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
The
yes,
second
that's
of
correct.
those.
20. You guys were on episode 20.
And and I think you're the first show that had us as a show be a guest, right? I've been a guest, Dan has appeared, but I don't think we've ever been as Hearth Coach in a show, and you for sure were the first one, so that was pretty awesome with you guys. So I know you guys were kind of fans because you're like episode 20. I don't know what we were up to by then, but
it was still fairly early.
Yeah, it's early on, right? I mean,
I was getting ready to say there's no content to it. We were definitely still are fans. You guys have something great going here, and we're happy to be tugging on your coattails.
Yeah, exactly. I want to point out, one of my highlights of 2017, like I got to do some awesome stuff in Hearthstone in 2017, but one of my highlights was getting to hang out with Fred and Dan at DreamHack in Atlanta. It was just awesome.
We got to do it again, man.
That was a good time.
So I don't know if you know this or not, because I've not talked about this very much, but I had a stroke in January of that year. So January 25th of 2000, I guess it was 17?
2016.
Nope. 16.
Oh,
16. We're at 18 now.
Yeah, 2017. So I actually don't remember that happening live. I went back and watched our episodes, and I was just like, oh, that's awesome. We had Fred and Dan on. So, I kind of got to experience it twice. Once I don't remember, but the second time I remember.
Oh, man.
And
I'm glad you're doing better.
I haven't missed an episode in 3 years. I've been watching you guys since episode 1 through the chip gate.
Well, you've definitely seen us improve our game a little bit along the way.
Well, and that was something else.
Sticking in there.
that was something else. So I had to relearn how to play Hearthstone after my stroke. It changed the way that I thought about things. Like my mind didn't work the same way. So in relearning how to play Hearthstone, the Hearth Coach podcast was actually part of me rebuilding my game. You guys were instrumental in getting me back on track. So I figured that since I haven't really talked about this publicly, I wanted to thank you guys for that, because if it hadn't have been for your podcast, that would have made that journey that much more difficult. So I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you very much, and you're very much welcome. Glad we could have helped in our own little way here.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that with everybody. I know you shared it with us when we were at DreamHack, but I appreciate you. It means a lot. I mean, when Dan brought the idea to me, I was like, well, I'm kind of a teacher. I like to teach, so this will give me that outlet. And never in my wildest dreams would I thought first people were going to reach legend with it and send their stories, and much less a story like yours where we don't even know that we're helping somebody through something like that. So that's the thing, that you have this creativity that you just want to put out there, and hopefully there's somebody out that gets something. And we thought, hey, maybe they'll get better at the game, but stories like yours are like, man, this is worth doing.
It's
never expected anything quite like this.
We all do this because we love the game and we love the community, and you never know when your podcast might touch someone's life on a whole nother level. Mm-hmm. And it's just it means so much more than just going out and doing a podcast every week.
Well, for the record, I like doing it because I like people to hear my voice. But I do love Hearthstone, and you guys have been very instrumental. There was a period of time when we were doing our show, and we had a little bit of critique that none of the hosts have been been legend before, but they try to teach people to go up the ranks on the ladder, and it kind of spurred me to take the reins and get legend. And I would not have been able to be as successful and hit legend the first time without the help of Fred. He literally was on Battle.net chat with me constantly, asking me, you're on a losing streak. What are you playing against? Do you feel that you're making bad plays, or do you think you're just having a bad matchup? Maybe you need to take a break. Maybe you need to change a couple things in your deck, which spurred me to add an extra Consecrate in my Aggro Paladin, or Shakadin at the time. And that actually was the one change I needed to burst through from rank 3 to legend. And so Fred and Hearth Coach as a whole is kind of instrumental in getting hero power, the experience we needed to properly teach people how to play Hearthstone.
Well, thank you. I'm sure you would have probably gotten there eventually on your own, but we're glad to, we're glad to be just playing our little part here in this. I basically tried to come up and make the podcast I wanted to hear.
Yeah,
I know. I had the idea, and I'm like, and
I made.
Luckily, I was able to track Fred down and convince him to go along with this craziness. Here we are.
Yeah, I made fun of Zerosha, but he's the one that's the Hall of Legends and Wall of Champions member in the show.
Yeah, I don't think anyone believed for a moment that it was me. So.
Now, Dan, I don't believe you're completely honest, because you said you made the podcast you thought you wanted to hear, but not once have I heard Slayer on the on any of the Hearth Coach episodes.
that's very true.
Well, true.
Yes, it has to happen, Dan.
If Dan can merge Slayer and Hearthstone, he'd go to heaven right then. He just life's done, bucket list is full.
Yeah, that or some or a little hate breed in the background there.
That works.
Yeah. I need to pull it. I went into a Warp Tour over the summer, and my boy Josta was doing his podcast there, and I got him. And I got it on an MP3. It's on my desktop here, and I need to go through it because I got him calling me Metal Dan in there a couple of times, and I still want to pull that out and use it for a drop.
Nice. In
the show someplace. Oh man, yeah, that reminded me that I had that in there. I need to do that someday, some more editing work, but I think I could do it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, I was just thinking about this year alone. I think 2 of us became homeowners.
Yeah.
We went through the storm. We met in person. I mean, it's a crazy ride.
Year. It's been a heck of a couple of months.
I know, it's
September for me, and
there were
do I know how cool the Hearthstone community is.
Right. That was the biggest.
Really came together for me.
The biggest blessing in disguise so far. It's really that storm that caused so much destruction for Dan. And then on the back side of it, the community was just insane, and then other things that happened to him as a result. It's truly remarkable what's taking place.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I got a new truck, guys. I got a new
Congratulations.
Truck Saturday. Yeah. It was a wedding present, basically.
Yep. So. And I guess I'll mention this, but when Dan he came to the Hearth Coach Atlanta studios, right? So he met the family up here, my daughter, my wife, and when they left, my wife was like, How did that car make it up here? Not to put that on the spot. But
the Saturn? Yeah.
Yeah, now that he has a new truck, it's like, okay, we can say it. But it was a miraculous ride. So I'm glad you took the chance of coming all the way up here with that. And I get
there was nothing going to keep us from making that trip up there. I would have rented a car if I had to.
Yeah.
I was going to say, we said that about Avanti's car once in a while too.
Oh yeah. Speaking of driving distances, I want, while we have you live on the show, Dan, I know you're a little further away and probably can't, but Fred, I want to extend an invitation to you. I am going to be hosting, some of you know I'm also an innkeeper. I love Hearthstone so much. I enjoy running tournaments, but I am planning to run a Tavern Hero qualifier in February, probably going to be in the Chattanooga area. Ooh. So it's not that far of a drive for you, but I want to extend an invitation for you to come up and compete and play and hang out, and maybe we'll have some fun that day.
Yeah, just when you have the detail, we love Chattanooga. That's not a bad drive, and if we need to stay, that's not even a problem. We love that town, so.
And I'm here.
And Zeroshio lives there.
Zeroshio lives there? Well, I don't know now.
Yeah, I know, right? Now.
Having second thoughts?
Maybe we won't stay. We'll just kind of pass by.
and if we can pitch a little bit, those that are in the Knoxville area or the East Tennessee area, we are having a Tavern Hero qualifier this Saturday, February the 27th as well.
Even if you're not in the area, come on down.
So for those audio listeners, that is Saturday, January 27th.
Right?
Yes, January 27th.
Not February.
Not February 27th.
Did I say February?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
See,
I'm totally off.
Pitch stuff.
I'll make the trip. It's like a 9-hour trip, I think, from here or something to Nashville.
Hop in your new truck and come on.
Yeah. Well, I think I've talked about this, but I am planning a wedding coming up here in April. So
yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes,
and condolences.
April 14th. Oh no. I never thought I'd do this again, but this one.
Well, the condolences are going through the wedding. That is the most stressful time. Once you're married, congratulations. But
I've
been through 3 weddings, and they're a lot of stress.
Yeah. No, this one's going to be pretty simple. It's nothing. We're not doing anything too extravagant. And then we're going to hit the road and hopefully take about 3 weeks for the honeymoon. We hope do a little driving cross country in the new truck.
Nice.
So Leviticus says he's 14 hours and 21 minutes from Austin to Chattanooga. So we'll see you there, bud.
Ooh.
See you there.
I've done a Dallas to Atlanta drive in one shot. That is not a fun drive.
I have done a Knoxville to San Diego in one shot.
Whoa.
Took me 22 hours and 40 minutes.
That's serious.
I just want to point out for all the Hero Power viewers out there, we just got our first Versika head shake on
No. It is not the first.
Wasn't the first?
The first of the last 5 minutes, maybe.
If you want to see more Versika head shakes, check out our website over at HeroPowerHS.com.
Yes, we are.
No, we're doing a DreamHack this year.
I'd love to do DreamHack this year.
Yeah, maybe.
I think chances of Versika and I being there are pretty good. there's still the possibility Zeroshio might get to go to BlizzCon.
And unfortunately, DreamHack Atlanta has decided to schedule right about the time, probably a week after when BlizzCon normally is. So
it's the week after, it's week and a half after or something.
Yeah, I'd already said that I would try to get us to BlizzCon to my wife, and she was looking forward to it. So I'm going to try to get BlizzCon tickets. If I can't, then I'll go to DreamHack.
Yeah,
but I'm going to try to get BlizzCon tickets.
I haven't been able to do it. I didn't even try this year, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, they sold out in like 42 seconds.
Yeah, it's like second. It's impossible. So,
so I told myself I would try to get BlizzCon tickets, and if I didn't get it on the first try, then I would go to DreamHack.
Okay, sweet,
cool. Well, I hope you don't get DreamHack ticket or
BlizzCon tickets.
BlizzCon
selfishly,
yeah,
selfishly. We hope.
I am a selfish bastard sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, yeah. How about this? If Zeroshio doesn't get BlizzCon tickets, we'll blame it on Ronnie.
There you go. Well, you never know with that dude. He
never know.
He can do all kinds of things. I mean, it's
yeah.
Man.
He just, things just, even though he doesn't try, I'm trying to remember, there was like a cartoon where they would just like stumble into solving the crimes and stuff, even though they did everything wrong. And that's like kind of Ronnie. He'll try really hard, mess it all up, but just whatever reason just comes out beautiful in the end somehow.
I'm pretty sure when BlizzCon tickets go on sale, right before I hit the enter button to try to put in my bid for the tickets, my computer's gonna die. I'm gonna smell socks and Jose Cuervo. I'm gonna go, Ronnie.
You're gonna.
You'll
see the horns come up.
I've done 2 computers, a phone, an iPad, all this stuff, and I haven't been able to pull it off. So I don't know how people do it, but. Anyway, that's not
taking the day off of work.
I know. Spend all day trying to do it. All right, guys. Well, we got a couple of minutes to go into our next guest. See if we can stay on time here, which will be something.
Yeah.
How amazing is that?
It looks like Andrew from Happy Hearthstone is coming next. But
Andrew's such a great guest. You guys are in for such a treat.
Do you want to plug any final things?
One thing. Andrew happens to be my UHL opponent this week.
Oh,
okay.
Should we try to snuff out what he's playing?
No, I already know what he's playing.
No, like actual deck, card by card.
No. But just give him a hard time for me. We're as he put it, we're both hungry for a win, and pretty much whoever doesn't win this week, I think, is all but mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. So it's going to be it's going to be fun, and there's actually it's really cool that it's Andrew that's in this situation with me, because I feel like both of us really enjoy the game for what it is. So it's going to be fun going up against someone who plays for the love of the game and not, and I don't want to say doesn't take themselves too seriously, but successfully bridges that line between competitive and fun, and he does it really well. And so I'm excited that's kind of where my tournament or where my league life has ended up.
But I do want to pass one message that you can give to Andrew when he comes on, is that while he's doing this wonderful guest spot on Hearth Coach, you can find out more over hearthcoach.net for the 3rd anniversary. Versika is going to be busy practicing, and that's going to be time that he's going to waste, and he's not going to be prepared for Versika.
Yeah.
And I just want to remind everybody that you can find us always every Wednesday night at 7:30 Eastern right here on twitch.tv/ECMMO Gamers, or on our website at heropowerhs.com. If you are at all interested in hosting your own fireside gatherings, I also do another podcast called the Innkeepers Podcast with some great innkeepers from around the world. My co-hosts there are O'Leary and Root, and you can get all the information you need if you are interested in hosting your own fireside and just hanging out with friends and playing some Hearthstone. So, check out that show, but join us every Wednesday night, because one of the things that we really enjoy doing is talking Hearthstone and playing games, and we do both of those on Hero Power. So.
Yeah, definitely check out their stuff. It's a really good time, and check out episode 20 especially. It's their best episode that they've ever had.
It may very well be, yeah. Well, I don't know, though. We had you guys on again. I think you guys are the only show we've had on twice.
Maybe so. Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, anyway,
special.
Thank you guys for coming on and sharing those stories. That was really awesome. And
thanks for having us, guys.
Keep it going.
Thank you, Fred.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations on 3 years.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Dan. And don't forget to use your hero power.
That's right.
Thanks, guys.
Good night, guys.
Bye.
Okay.
All right. Let's get Andrew in here.
Love those guys.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. Love the stories. My goodness.
I know.
Pretty intense.
Okay.
All right.
Wow, dude, we're like close to on time.
I know. It's a miracle.
Man, our questions worked out just right with Mr. Kosak. I think we hit the half-hour mark pretty perfectly.
I know.
Got all our questions in, and it ended perfectly with that tremendous poem.
I was thinking that. Oh yeah, I was thinking that it wasn't enough, but he went into some good detail. So.
Yeah,
definitely.
I figured if we kept it in the what he worked on.
All right, there he is.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
All right, our next guest for the evening.
Woo,
Good
welcome.
evening, Andrew.
I gotta say, I'm impressed. You guys are keeping a tight ship. You're keeping it entertaining the whole way through. It's nice to have like a rotating guest chair. Things unendingly, right?
As everything Hearth coach, this is Dan's idea. He's like, I'm gonna do all the work. I got it, and then I end up like booking everybody and creating the schedule.
But hey, the idea was great, the execution's great, and the end product's great. So happy to be with you guys.
Yeah, I tell everybody when you do a podcast, picking the right podcast partner is so important.
Absolutely.
Oh man. How are you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good. I actually just finished up my work day, so I'm closing it out, hanging out with you guys, and watching Zoroshio think that I'm not practicing while he and the rest of the crew are on here. So sounds like Versika and I are right on the same level. So.
Oh man, those guys. They think they don't know what's coming, or Versika doesn't know what's coming.
Yeah. No, I can't add to what he said. I mean, he left me speechless over here. I was like, I can't even like razz in chat or like, there's no speechless emoji or something like that. But I don't think nicer words could be said. So I'll just say ditto, because I definitely feel the same way. I actually said earlier, or actually, so I've got a new episode coming out tomorrow, and I kind of went over some of the UHL stuff. And one of the things that is absolutely true is that Versika is the one person on the roster that's absolutely terrified me from the beginning. Not because, and he's a great player, but it's not necessarily because he's the best. It's because he's unpredictable. Mm-hmm. The guy is known for being the mad scientist of the crew, and he proved it in all of his matches so far. So as much as I'm trying to prepare and trying to like anticipate, I know that there's going to be things that I just can't. So
what?
When you see that holy wrath, you're like, what just happened here? I mean, that's it. It all goes out the window.
Or tearing reporter and naturalize. It's like, okay, that actually does make sense. I never would have thought of that though. So I really am looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun time.
This is because randomly I played you on the ladder one day.
Oh, yeah.
And then the next game was Zoroshio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, this is weird, but all right. I lost to you. I should have lost to him, too, but I don't know. Things weren't going so well. I guess he just felt bad for me and just let me have a game or something.
That just happens, man, sometimes. Though it is fun to run into each other. It's like, oh, hey, okay, so if I lose, I don't have to feel totally bad about this because friend won, and that's a good thing. So
yeah. So for me, I remember the Happy Hearthstone when it was Josh that still ran it, and
yeah,
he made one of his calls to the community because he wanted somebody to come on the show.
Right.
And I, I emailed him and he's like, oh yeah, he booked me. And this was when GVG, so like Mech Shaman was the deck that I brought.
Yep.
And I remember him on the next episode saying something like, we wanted somebody like from the community, but this guy's like a ringer because it turns out he's won tournaments and stuff. I'm like, well, let's not get carried away. But this was when I was more competitive and I had done well in some tournaments. So
sure,
maybe I did kind of, what do they say? A wolf in sheep's clothing. I was trying to hide there and pretend I'm just a casual, and then all of a sudden this competitive guy, I just wiped the floor with him.
Podcaster.
Yeah, I know.
I just make Legend every month.
And had podcasts going and all this stuff. But he was super nice. It was one of the first Hearthstone podcasts that I listened to. A Worthy Opponent was another one because they didn't take the game as seriously. And Josh and Happy Hearthstone was so positive always. You're having a rough time in the ladder, getting memed, and then you go to Josh and he's like, this is just happiness here.
Someone else could have fun.
I know.
And Fred, I don't know if you know this, man, but the very next episode after you, I actually co-hosted on the show with Josh.
Really?
So you brought that Mech Shaman deck, and then the very next episode, this was before podcasting was even a glimmer in my eye, to be honest. But I listened to the show, and I thought, hey, what have I got to lose? I've got a degree in audio production, so maybe I've got something where I can create usable audio for him, and I love this game. So I brought a Warlock Demon Zoo, the next one, that I was so nervous about, because at the time, I actually was a Hearth Coach listener as well, so I knew who you were. I knew that you were a good player. I was like, always bring Mech Shaman. That's such a good deck. But thankfully, Josh was he wasn't as proficient, I guess, with the Mech Shaman, so he kind of struggled on that one.
I know. I think I remember him losing right away. So because for a time there was some Beastmaster Hunter that ran for a few weeks, and then I'm like, okay. I'm giving him the deck that's going to rain. And then you came on and just destroyed it. It was like, wow, man, Josh, you killed my streak.
I think I remember him recounting that he didn't go face as much as he should have or something, or he was a little bit too because he's, I guess, more of a mid-range or control player. So he didn't know how to flip the switch for the aggro stuff. But that's kind of the time that our ships passed in the night, Frid, way back when. And I was trying to actually figure out, because I've been listening to Hearth Coach for way too long, or maybe just as long as I should. But, I started podcasting with Velen's Chosen in 2012? No, 2013. So I must have been listening at least in 2012, and I can't go back far enough. No.
Was Velen's Chosen around in 13? Because that was beta.
No.
Right? Close beta.
Hold on. Okay, so it was 20. I'm trying to put together the pieces of my story. I moved back here in 2017. I moved to Oklahoma in 2015. So it's 2015 that we started it.
That sounds right.
And so I must have been listening in 2014, maybe.
Now, what about Ben when we started?
Yeah, we started at 2015, the beginning. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I was able to look back to episode 57. That's all iTunes is showing me. And I remember Chinese Zoolock and Camel Hunter. So those are as far back as I can see. But I really attribute a lot of my ability now from a lot of the basics that I was learning back then, because there were a few Hearthstone podcasts to listen to. Angry Chicken was the big one, and Happy Hearthstone I listened to for all the same reasons you just said, Frid. But Hearth Coach, being able to actually learn some practical skills without having to invest in a personal coach. I just didn't have the money for something like that, but I really wanted to get better. I learned a lot from that, and I attribute kind of getting the early sessions of, do you trade, do you go face, how do you analyze these meta decks, how do you just have fun every now and then when you are going crazy. I'm really thankful for all of that so far.
Yeah, we try and keep the laughs up as best we can.
Yeah, this is Dan's idea of saying, how can we make where we actually play the game in audio. I'm like, Dan, you're nuts. This game is so visual. There's no way this is ever gonna work. But here I am, like 3 years later. It's like we keep going.
What do you know?
I was like, just think calling a baseball game on the radio or something like
Exactly.
that. Kind of what we're doing here.
The hard parts were when I couldn't finish an episode, so I would like pick it up a while later, and it would take me a few plays before I'm like, okay, what exactly does the board look like? Yeah. But eventually I'd get there, I'd be able to figure it out. And I even think about how you guys have grown in knowing what to say and how to say it. Even
it's been an evolving process. Oh my
gosh,
I couldn't imagine to go back and like listen to some of the first episodes or something. Like,
sometimes you have to realize how much you've grown and at least take a little bit of pride in the fact that you guys are really hard. I mean, it's already gone said, like every week is insane, but in the quality that you've gotten piece by piece, step by step, thinking through, hey, what if, you called all the opponents and I called all of our plays? Or what if we brought some really high level people onto the show to really tell us about their specialties? I mean, I really I take a lot from the resilience that you guys have shown over the years in a number of levels, and really appreciate still listening to the show for that.
Yeah, I'm still like amazed by how many podcasts there are. I mean, you guys were around, and when we were doing this, it was like we were going to be like the 6th or 7th podcast, and I'm like, wow, ooh boy, it's getting crowded. I said, man, there's already 7 podcasts. I'm like, man, I love podcasts because I've been listening to podcasts and involved with them since podcasting started. So I like 15 years now or something. I've been doing stuff with podcasts, and it's like, okay, we gotta have something different here. And man, and I was worried about us coming into like a bit of an overfilled market and hoping we were different enough. And I was like, well, eventually somebody's going to copy this and do what we're doing. And there's a couple of like similar, but nobody's really like done it yet anyway. Not like the level we've been able to keep it up at.
Absolutely. And I think it's a tribute to the game itself that it was able to take 7 podcasts back then, but the way that the game has grown has created more space for other people who are finding niches into niches. I mean, to the point that now we have a podcast called The Daring Reporter that their whole point is reporting on Hearthstone.
Is that the one? Okay, The Daring Reporter. I'll have to check it out.
That's the one. That's the one that Dan was telling me about. The podcast about podcasts.
I think did I bring it up with Kosak?
I don't know, maybe.
Or was that with the Hero Power guys? I forget.
No, I think it was. Goodness. It was with Kenny before we went live.
That's right.
The community guy. Yeah, we were talking about that before the show. So.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was. It's like 6:20, and we're like, he's. I don't have him in Skype. I don't see anything. I'm like, because we've been working on this for a year. I mean, it's been a while.
2 years. Yep. You started on our first anniversary. You're like, let's try and go for a Blizzard. Right. And so for the last 2 years, you've been sending the emails and following up with them. And
I mean, it's not pushy, just kind of trickling it in and answering their questions, and eventually the patience and that longevity, it finally happened.
The resilience.
So, I know.
Yeah, and Dave was such a great interview too.
Oh man,
hopefully it was worth it. I'll definitely be listening to it later.
He seems like it'd be a lot of fun.
About what he worked on, so he was, it worked out. We had like about 7 questions prepared or something, and a half hour, and it hit just right. Man, we looked.
It flies by, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, I told Dan, I'm like, we're gonna cut that into its own thing, just because that looked good.
Yeah, totally.
Put it out there. This may be the one where I actually try to get somebody to do some editing, or maybe I'll try to do it myself, like up front and back, so it looks a little more nice. Anyway. Yeah. Well, let's see, Andrew. What do you want to plug here for the people for the Hearth Coach community, so they can?
Yeah, for the Hearth Coach community, come and listen to what Frid heralded as, I can't remember your exact words, but I'll go back and quote it so that I have it on record. But just Yeah, we're a podcast that just likes to have fun. We're the longest running. Like you said, Josh started it out, and he moved over to the WoW Quest design team, so he had to hand it off, and I've been honored to be running it for the past year now. And lots of great stuff in the works for the future. Come out with episodes every other week, and like he and I mentioned, we've both been on the show as guests because we have a rotating and open invitation to pretty much anyone who's in the Hearthstone community to come hang out and talk about whatever they want. So we release every other week. I've got an episode releasing tomorrow. We go in depth with Rogue, which I hear, Fred, that you're a fan of the Rogue.
Oh,
every
yes,
now
of
and
course.
So it might be a good one. And you can find those at thehappyhearthstone.com or search for The Happy Hearthstone in your podcast app of choice. I've also just started up streaming a bit more officially, so you can follow me on Twitch at Andrew is Living, and I do a show called The Lunch Break because it's literally my lunch break, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 12:30 to 1:30 Mountain Standard Time. Yeah, it's a bit fun. Today we found out that Tempo Rogue is a 0% win rate and Control Mage is a 100% win rate deck. It's as simple as that. There's no other data you need to know.
Oh my goodness!
It was a fun time.
We got the lunch break. We got the walk to work. He's gonna be on the show here later, all the way from down under. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yep.
So it's like all kinds
Yep.
of things that are around this game. Who would have known? I mean, you just leave it up to Blizzard to make something that just attracts all this enthusiasm and just energy that people put into it.
And what's cool with those things is it's like I think how Hearthstone's gotten into my life is not just because of a bit of trading card background, but also because it's so moldable to insert in your life. You know, I'm now with I've got one daughter and a wife, and we have a lot going on. But Hearthstone's a game I can pull out if I've got 5 minutes, or I can really dig into it on a weekend when I got a long time. So it would be fitting that stuff like Walk to Work or my lunch break and stuff is us fitting content creation into our lives in a similar way, you know. But thankfully, this is a game everyone loves, and we're kind of all always itching for, okay, how do I get better? How can I keep, improving my gameplay? And Hearth Coach is always going to be a standard for that, honestly, in my book, for where to point people towards for learning the nitty gritty details, because they're just things you can only learn in a coaching session that no amount of theory or blogs or anything like that is ever going to get you. So being able to fit that into my commutes and stuff like that, always a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, sir. Very kind.
Absolutely.
Well, we were saying that Craptasm in the chat says, I just hope nobody does the bathroom break Hearthstone podcast. You don't want to hear that one.
Hey, and if your name is Craptasm, man, I'm just saying that it's open right now because
Craptasm is a long-time listener. He's a Patreon.
He's a good
tournament player. He's awesome. So
if he's the real deal, then come on, man. Niches are still out there.
Craptasm. Somebody gave it a name.
I see Ronnie doing that podcast.
Somebody gave it a name. Bowl Games. Bowl Games? Craptasm in bowl games. I don't know. Maybe we are up to something.
Hearth sit, or I don't know. We could probably go on that all night.
Well, Andrew, thank you so much for coming on. People go check out his stuff. You heard, and we'll try to make notes and put all this information so that you can check it out. But he's got a podcast. He's got a stream. He's on Twitter announcing stuff. I follow him, and he's posting all the time. So
Andrew's living on there also.
Yep.
How could I forget the beloved Twitter? Well, thank you guys so much for having me on, and seriously, a mega congrats. I can't say it enough on 3 years, and seriously, resilience is always going to be the word when I think about you guys. But really appreciate you and hope to work together again soon.
Certainly will, friend. Thank you so much for doing this.
All right, see you guys.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Let's get Language Hacker in here.
Oh yeah, man, we are I can't believe we're on time.
Are we gonna be able to hold this marathon? Let's see.
I don't know. Let's see. Well, we're so far so good. I think Blister Guy would be the only one seeing how he's on the other side of the planet doing this and at a crazy time, but. Okay.
I'm calling him now. Let's see.
All right. So, yeah, then we'll hopefully we'll have Cora.
There he is.
Hey, all right.
Hey guys, how's it going?
All right, friend. How you doing?
Good. Can't complain. How are you? Just kicking the new year and everything.
Oh, doing well here.
We're still sort of in what do you say? Cloud 9.
Basking in the glow.
Yeah, like woo, we got finally the somebody that makes the game. I've never done that before. And
yeah, we had like a real Blizzard person on to open up the show, and it went really well.
He's pretty cool. He had a lot of stuff to say in a short amount of time, so that was a lot of fun.
I was watching that. Good, like he had a lot of good stuff to say. Good, like it's gonna be hard to follow up for that.
Yeah, I was, the rewards question. Dan's like, all right, let's see, and he was ready, and it makes sense.
He was glad we asked too.
Yeah, makes sense.
He was wanting to talk about it.
Yep. So
that was neat. That was awesome.
They must be thinking about all this stuff, obviously making it. So.
Oh yeah.
So how are you, man? I mean, thank you for coming and help us celebrate our 3rd year anniversary. You've been on this show before. You've been one of the ones that has bailed us out when we needed help, so we appreciate that. I know when Dan had
met in person.
Yes, of course. We had DreamHack. We hung out a lot that time. So maybe we'll get to do it again this year in November.
Yeah, hopefully. So I was looking at the DreamHack dates, and I already rushed to book them off of work so that I have the option to go in the first place. So that's been set in stone. So now I just need to wait for tickets to become available, and I'm pretty sure Atlanta I'm going to be going to. So
nice.
Oh, excellent.
Looking forward to that.
Seeing you again.
Yeah. So last year, for people listening, last year, I mean, I guess it wasn't a full year ago, but this recent Atlanta DreamHack, which I believe was the first one they've held in Atlanta.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah.
Yes.
So I live in Canada, in Toronto. And I came down to Atlanta to compete in there, and I met with Fred, I met with Dan, and we all hung out there. We had some food, we played some games, we reveled in the glorious DreamHack atmosphere, and it was really cool meeting these guys. I mean, Fred, I've actually no, that was the first time I met Fred in person, and Dan. I know we've been on the podcast together a couple times, and Fred I've known since this one the first tournament I ever signed up for. Fred was my opponent, and I couldn't actually end up competing, so I still had to log on and tell everyone, hey, I have to drop out, and make sure that everyone takes their free win and whatever. And Fred I added on my friends list before I dropped out, and he just stayed there the whole time. And eventually I found out he was doing a podcast. We played a couple of games. I think we haven't ever played a game together, have we?
I don't know. Have we ever? I'm not sure.
No, I don't think I've ever seen you on ladder, and I don't think we've ever played in a tournament either.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we were supposed to play, I guess, in Atlanta, but I had, I left a bit early.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the way the Swiss worked.
That first Friday was a little rough, I guess, with the when we had our internet breakage and whatnot.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I think you're way much more competitive than me now, so you're higher in the ladder. It'll be harder for us to cross paths, I think. Although we're kind of the same rank right now, so there's a chance if we queued up, maybe. But
yeah, I mean, last I checked, you were ahead of me. I've been struggling at rank 4 now for like 3 days.
Okay, so maybe, but yeah, it's surprising that I haven't run into.
Hey, if
you.
I can run into Andrew is living and then Zeroshio the next hand in one day, hey, anything's possible.
Yeah.
So you have been consistently streaming now. I think you're a Twitch official, right? So you can be subscribed to, and you have an emote that you just released. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, I'll put it in chat. Those listening can't hear it. It's basically it's a 6-sided die, but all of the sides have a 1 on it, and it has the words "low roll" in big rainbow letters for my viewers to spam whenever I get salty about draws or my opponent's draws or 50-50s or whatever.
Awesome.
I'm gonna put it in there too because I'm a proud subscriber, so I got access to it.
Feels amazing.
It's six sides of one. It's a typical frit roll or a
exactly, yeah. It's not. It doesn't say language hacker on it. It's feel free to use this wherever you want because low rolls happen everywhere, you know.
Oh my gosh! And you also you're part of a team now officially. Is that right?
Yes, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I believe I've joined Royal Blue Esports. Officially, yeah. I'll be representing them at any tournaments I go to, and basically for the 2018 competitive year, I know that Blizzard has implemented like team prize winnings based on their individual players' accomplishments throughout the year, so that should be interesting.
Okay, and who else is on the who else on the team?
We have a few people. Let me double check. I don't know if the full 3-man Hearthstone roster has been released.
Okay.
But Dexter, RLB Dexter, Mess is on there too. Excuse me. I think it's actually that might be the 3-man team. Me, Dexter, and Mess. I think that is it actually.
Maybe you can put the website here as people are asking on the chat so that people can check it out.
No, I think the website is, last I checked, it might have, like, we're in the like final stages of like setting it up.
Oh, it's not ready? Okay.
I can post the Twitter just a second.
Yep.
But yeah, for those who haven't heard of it, if you have heard of Teebs, Teebs was actually on this last year, this team.
Okay, yeah.
And you probably saw him at a few of the events last year. There we go, I posted.
He was a DreamHack, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and he did fairly well. I think he ended top 16 at Montreal, which is good. Might have been top 8. I can't remember the whole shebang, but yeah, he's been placing well.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe at this point you're not as much a listener to learn the game, maybe just to hear us banter, but when did you use the show before to kind of when you were learning the game? I'm pretty sure we've talked about this, but...
So when I was learning the game, I did not use that many outside resources, and I don't believe I listened to the podcast until I had already like a good understanding of the game itself, because when we first crossed paths in the tournament, I don't think I knew you were running a podcast. It wasn't until later that I found out. So I think I was already like relatively competitive at that point, but I still listen in now and then, not necessarily for, learning about individual gameplay, but the deck lists you post are still pretty useful. I mean, if you look at all the deck lists people are bringing to even Worlds, for example, I don't think there was a single identical lineup, like card for card. Mm. And just being able to play with different ideas and different decks is incredibly useful. Like in the past 3 days, like I said, I've been stuck at rank 4, just bouncing back and forth. I've tried like 20, 30 different decks, archetypes, and lists. Like I took a bit of a competitive break after I didn't qualify for Worlds, and I just played a bit of casual stuff on ladder, and I did the dungeon run challenge. And I wasn't on ladder at all. So the past 2 weeks have been me frantically trying to figure out, all right, what's the matter? Are we still playing Raza Priest? Are we still playing Jade Druid? Is there aggro? Like, what are we doing? And then go ahead.
No, it's all over the place. But I was gonna say that the last 3 or 4 days, I've played one game a day. I have won them all with Jade Druid. So it's
keep doing that. Like one win a day.
One game a day, and I win. Because I got the dungeon run quest, so I did that, and I got the watch and learn, so I did that. So I the quests sometimes motivate me to play, and then I get on a roll. But since I haven't had one, I'm like, I'm just gonna play one at a time. And I've been playing my PlayStation. It helps with mind sanity, so I'm not going crazy with the meta. But Jade Druid with all the armor and stuff, I keep running into priests. I'm like, come at me, priest. You can't get me because I'm gonna have 40 armor. It's not gonna happen. So you could try it, so very cool. So now you're gonna dedicate 18 pretty much full time to this. I mean, you're going for the Worlds, all that,
quote unquote full time.
Okay.
Like I have a full time job now, so it's mostly evenings and weekends I'm gonna commit. But yeah, I'm still hoping to compete at the same level that I was in 2017. Hopefully with better results, more resolve. Less RNG.
Oh, I hear you.
I don't know about that. It's like
we can hope, okay?
yeah, we can hope.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for the big meta change. I mean, I've struggled getting to 5. I managed to get to rank 8 the other day, and I just haven't had a tremendous amount of time to really put into it. But man, from different podcasts that I've listened to and everything, I'm usually don't feel so bad because my experience usually seems to mirror what a lot of people seem to be going through on, at least, on the level I managed to play around, and even on the harder levels. It just seems like climbing the ladder right now is just difficult.
I think that's true as well.
More than usual, more than average.
I mean, do you think because this month counts, there's going to be more tryhards, or just a function of the kind of meta that we're in is just what's causing this?
I think it's a bit of both, honestly. I mean, if you're looking at ladder, it's relatively diverse. I mean, no, relatively diverse. There's some solid 5, 6, 7, 8 archetypes that you can just bounce back and forth in between, and then it's a huge matrix of rock, paper, scissors, where obviously one deck's favored, one deck's not. Sometimes you're playing mirrors. But it's hard to get one deck right now that's just good against everything. I mean, unless you're just playing Raza Priest the whole time. But let's not bring that up.
I can't do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, because that's the one deck that you could argue it's okay, it's everything. So
yeah, it has a chance against everything.
Just because they gave him more board clears that it did not need.
Yeah.
Psychic Scream, I'm talking to you.
and definitely, I think the fact that it's the competitive season again, we're going to be seeing a lot more people definitely try climbing the ranks up to Legend, because you still get points just for hitting Legend, I believe. But even beyond that, getting the top whatever spots.
Yeah, they bracketed it more, so there's points for different clusters. So even 1,000... Top 1,000 is something, so it's worth trying to get it if you're into that. So, whew. But it's gonna be it's gonna be challenging. You just need to kind of build your zen zone so that when you're having those losing streaks, you can just push through it, because they're gonna happen. It's just the nature of it. So, I think playing these other non-Hearthstone games is my new thing that is helping me. All right, I get to enjoy this.
A little palate cleanser.
Yeah, and I get bogged down in just freaking Hearthstone all the time. Yeah, I think it's a good way to do it. Especially if you played. Think about, I've been playing this game for so long, competitively hard. It's okay, thousands and thousands of games. It's good to do something different every now and then. So.
Give your mind a little stretch, yeah.
Yep.
That's what I've been doing with SimCity.
Nice.
Yeah, it was cheap, and you got everything, and I guess they still never managed to work all the bugs out of that game, because there's stuff in it that don't work right. So I'm okay, I guess that's why they gave up on this thing. They could get it fixed to work right. So they were whatever, here it is. We don't care anymore. It's cheap. But I still have a good, my own little palate cleanser with it. But
you were doing Super Mario for a little bit from the Switch? Or...
Yeah, again, so when I was taking the break from actual competitive stuff since the season had ended, I picked up the Nintendo Switch just as a sort of, I like Mario and Nintendo games. I picked that up, and then I don't know, at some point through the story, I was like, what if I speedrun this? And then I looked up the route, figured it out, started practicing it, and it was really fun. It's even though it was I guess a more competitive way of doing it, I still found it enjoyable.
You just gotta have that itch. Scratch. I gotta do it.
But definitely, it was really great, and I think it was very healthy to take that break from Hearthstone, even if it was only for a month or two.
So my daughter's grandparents, obviously my parents and my in-laws, gave her a Switch for Christmas, and Santa brought me Super Mario Odyssey, so I was lucky enough to get that. She got Mario Kart and Just Dance, which is what she wanted. Santa brought me Zelda and Mario. I played a little bit of it. I got to the Metro level. I stopped, but it's a lot of fun. It's super fun game. They did a really good job with the hat and all the things you can do, so it's pretty neat. I've enjoyed it. Now I'm not gonna do the speed run. I can tell you that much, but I'll enjoy.
It was a bit of a headache.
Yeah, the regular story. So, okay, so you said you're full time, so that means you graduated actually this time.
Yep.
No more secret classes that are left over.
No, we're done. We've confirmed that.
And okay, so is it related to gaming, or is it something completely? I don't know if you want to say or not, but
just banking stuff. We can make a general statement.
Okay, all right. So you're like me.
Yeah.
You're a banking guy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I do.
You guys make great podcast partners.
That's what we do during the day. Cool. Well, is there any final thing you may want to plug or say before we bring in the next guest?
Sure. Before I plug, first of all, congratulations on 3 years, guys. This is actually amazing, and keep doing what you're doing, because this your viewers, me included, this is just a great thing to have. It's honestly just wonderful.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you guys are doing it.
So probably this is going to be the only episode we put out where we don't actually play any matches.
Yeah, consider it a break. Yeah.
You never know, Dan. Maybe Ronnie will want
to
play at the end, and
I'll try and coach Ronnie through a match at the end. Maybe we'll see.
It's funny. No, I appreciate your kind words. We've been talking throughout this, victory lap, if you want to call it that. It's we do this because we enjoy the game, and we enjoy just talking about it and playing, and it's surprising how much people out there find it useful, and the kinds of stories you get is crazy how it impacts different people, and that's just cool, because we never intended that much, but if it does, then more power to us, and we'll continue doing it as long as
we still have listeners. People are still digging it, so we're going to keep doing it.
And to you, sir, good luck this year. We'll be watching, as you know, and rooting for you, hoping that you can get some good placement, maybe a tournament here or there, so that you get enough points to represent the Americas, maybe all the way at the end. So,
yep, knock on wood for that.
Yeah, we'll be looking. So,
we'll be rooting for you.
All right.
Thanks for coming on again, man.
Let me throw a plug in there.
Okay.
Yes, I was going to say, please plug.
Oh, yeah, that's right, the plugs.
So on Twitter, you can follow me at @languagehacker_, and my Twitch is just twitch.tv/languagehacker. So check that out, guys. Some competitive stuff. I did the Dungeon Challenge. I'm not doing Arena as much, but expect some fun ranked salty stuff. And come get that low roll emote.
Hey, it's competitive. It's educational. There's explanations when it's not too much salt, which is most of the time. I mean, there's going to be a lot of explanation about lines of play. So if you want to improve and see some higher level competitive games, definitely check his stream out, because it's pretty cool. So,
all right, thanks for having me, guys, and
thanks, Fred.
I'm sure we'll have you on year 4 at some point. So.
Okay, I'll hold you to it.
I'm sure I'll have another family emergency or something, and Fred's going to need a fill-in or whatever. But
yep, we look forward to it.
Maybe you'll end up hearing from me, and you'll be like, "What?"
Yeah, me and Dan.
Yeah, that can be great.
All right, thanks again, guys.
Later. All right. Bring in Blister Guy here from the future.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Let me see if because he was the most concerned about this whole thing working, but I told him not to worry, that we could pull it off.
No worries.
Miss Pizza, would you like takeout or delivery?
Delivery, please.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'll kick you a pizza right now.
Oh, that's right. You're not going to have a camera. Or can you?
I don't know. Let's have a look.
Turn it on.
Let's see. I'm going to see if I can do. Here we go. Settings.
Yeah, come on. Do everything.
All right. Camera.
It's coming. No. I know we tested it yesterday, but we didn't do the camera piece. It's okay. You're just going to be...
worries. We're
you're going to be
on
white...
time. If the worst thing that goes on so far is when one person doesn't have a camera during our audio show.
Oh no, he's doing it from his phone. That's why. It's understandable.
Yeah. Is it working? Is the camera working?
No, we don't see you.
That's fine.
Oh, here it comes.
Something's happening.
There you are.
Oh, look at that.
Yay!
There he is, walking to work and doing Hearth Coach.
I'm walking at work. I'm out on my lunch break because time zones.
Okay. Yes.
You'll have to forgive the collar tucked in so that the microphone doesn't rub.
Oh,
and
no worries.
You'll have to forgive the shaking cam because I am walking. I figured I may as well be on brand.
Well, of course.
I mean, we're not going to... I mean, this is awesome. I appreciate you coming on.
I mean, that's a heck of a building behind you, too.
This is...
Oh, yeah. So
I
work at the University of Sydney, which is one of the oldest universities in Australia. And it's... hang on, no, I can't see it. We'll do it this way. It's turning. It's the quad, one of the old buildings. We have lots of new buildings and things as well. And apparently we're getting a new building in the next year or so that we'll be moving to, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Very good.
Now we're getting demanding, but is there any chance you could keep it landscape?
Yeah.
I think it looked
like
better.
So like this?
Yes, that's perfect.
Right, gotcha. Okay.
I know it's harder to hold, but now we got demand. See, this is what happens.
I mean, holding it up the whole time is going to be tough as it is.
Yeah, this
third year. I'm self-conscious because I need a haircut. Oh.
Oh, no, you're fine.
It's our third year. We get to make demands, all this stuff.
You do. Exactly. Congratulations on 3 years. I mean, that's why we're here, right?
I mean, we've had Blizzard Dev on the show now, so, we're just big time
support act, Like, the... Hera Power guys, Andrew's Living. It's all good to see that they're out here to support me on my guest performance.
I know.
And of course, I'm here supporting Cora because she's the big star of them all.
Oh,
heck of some great opening acts for this. So
yeah, I have to say, like, I looked up my Hall of Legends entry to see when it was that I started listening, because I remember when I made that entry that I admitted which episode of Hearth Coach I'd started listening from. Apparently, I've been listening to you guys since around episode 12.
Oh, wow.
And I've heard every episode since then.
Okay, so you've been in there a while. So you even heard the infamous episode 14, where we don't reference it as much anymore. But where I had my fun discussion about being the ADD dyslexic guy, and we haven't made an episode 14 reference in a while. But
no.
Moments happen.
We all have our challenges. Like, it's just one that you have, and like, I think it's good to acknowledge it too. Like, something that I've been dealing with a lot with Hearthstone for the last year or more is discovering that I'm just as susceptible to tilt as anyone else for whatever reason. And I think knowing what your limitations are and acknowledging them and knowing to work with them, that's all part of it. I think it's important.
Yes. Well, what was it today that you were talking about not taking your own advice as well as you should?
Yeah. Well, technically, that was yesterday's. I've already recorded another episode today. So this is the thing where all other Hearthstone podcasts are not as good as mine, because I record 3 times a week. Yeah. So I did an episode yesterday and I did another episode today. But yeah, I'm atrocious at taking my own advice. And when I talk to my listeners and say, you should do this, that, and the other, I'm also talking to myself. Actually, I guess literally while walking and talking, I am talking to myself, but also the listeners. So what I wanted to say was I would not have started my podcast, which is at least 300 episodes long now and 2 years old, if it weren't for you guys. I knew I wanted to do something. I'm just crossing a street, looking both ways.
Yeah,
let's not have Blister Guy get taken out live on the Hearth.
Yeah, that would
be bad for ratings.
I've done 320 episodes of Walk to Work without getting hit by a car yet. I'm good at this. But like, I knew I wanted to do something, and I kind of think I wanted to do a podcast so I could practice getting good at doing Hearthstone casting. That's something I want to do, which is why I think Cora is amazing. And listening to Hearth Coach, I was like listening to podcasts. I was like, hey, these guys are narrating games. I could do that. That would work. So you guys were a major influence on me starting my own podcast. And while you're also an influence on me hitting Legend for the first time, which happened within like 2 months of me starting my podcast, which was faster than I thought. Like the major influence that you guys had on me was getting me into the content creation and Hearthstone community, which I'm forever indebted to you both for.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, if Fred and Dan can do this, I can do this. It's like...
Exactly. I mean, if two knuckleheads like us can put together a podcast, get it out weekly, and actually like compete with, we stay right on the heels of a lot of, podcasts that got a little money behind them, a little bit of a studios and whatnot. So, but, hey, and good on them. And not hating.
I got a phone and the headphones that came with the phone with a bit of dish sponge around the microphone to try and reduce the wind noise.
Look at you
it
getting
works.
creative.
You sound good.
Yeah.
Well, I did that very early on too. Like that. These are some very old headphones. That sponge is dried up and old. And I tried to make a new one like a couple of months ago, and it didn't work. So I was like, oh God, I hope these ones don't die because I haven't figured out how to replicate what I did with it. The glue just didn't hold or something.
So do some more reverse engineering there.
So, Blister guy, the chat's going nuts. Freshco was like,
really?
He's like, oh, he's walking to work. How on brand is he? Like, that's funny. And then somebody said he's got a sponge.
Yeah, I got it all.
Somebody misses the echoes when you're walking into the train station. See?
Oh yeah, not the train station. But this is a lake behind me.
Oh my God, I would just want to be there right now.
Oh, it's pretty cool. Like, and the Sydney CBD is about half a mile to a mile that way, depending where you want to count it. So it's a pretty sweet location.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's also kind of mild today compared to how warm it's been, which I'm very thankful for. Otherwise, I'd be super out of breath and be like, oh my God, I'm sweating. I make the mistake of heading out to buy lunch during the day. You're like, why did I go outside? This is the worst mistake.
There's somebody in the chat calling you John Oliver, and he said you know who that is.
It's Rod Johnston, isn't it?
That's right. Last week tonight, we'd walk to work.
That's right. Like, the funny thing here is he's not the first person to ever say that he thinks I look like John Oliver. I'm just going to go sit down on the grass here.
Yep.
I think John Oliver is incredible and he's funny. And I used to listen to his podcast as well before he left his podcast. I think it's called, what is it? The Bugle. It was like a news podcast. I used to love that podcast until he went on to Last Week Tonight. But I think, personally, I'm a little better looking than John Oliver. So every time Rod Johnston likes to, I'm like, come on, man. It's a bit of a low blow.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I was as funny. I guess I have novelty accent like he does, but, dude, like, I got the looks.
A little more classic, more of the classic good looks. And, John Oliver, he looks like a comedian.
He does. He does.
Yeah.
I can only aspire to look like a comedian.
Yeah. So you were on the show pretty early on because of your entry, right? I mean, when did that?
Yeah.
Maybe he was the one that we started with doing that.
I wasn't the first guest. Like, because I made Legend like March 2016, and I'm like the 11th in the Hall of the Champions. But like, I was just really slow at getting on the episode. And Fred, you were messaging me on BattleNet, like, can we get you on yet? And I'm like, yeah, like time zones, it's kind of rough. So I certainly wasn't the first guest, and other people came on. And every time someone came on, I'd be like, they've got another Hall of Legends guest. I really need to get off my backside and do this. And so I took like a morning off work or something, and finally appeared. But I definitely wasn't the first.
That's right. You're right. You're just right, because the time zone is so difficult to try to make it work.
It must have been a different time of year because it was around 10 a.m. for me then there. Like, so when clocks go forward for you guys, they go backwards for us and vice versa. So that's why today it fits in the lunch break perfectly.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We'll have to remember that, what season it is. Is it going to be a good season? It was a while ago.
Like, we played Hunter, and clearly that's not a thing that anyone does very much these days. So it was definitely a while ago.
No.
Just playing Hunter and smashing faces. That's right. Not a thing.
Not the best idea. No.
Not right now. You can play Hunter, but you're not going to smash many faces.
Language Hacker, who was just on, he was trying Hunter, and it didn't work. I could tell you that.
Yeah.
He's been stuck in rank 4 for the last few days. So,
like, Synthglass made rank 1 Legends was it earlier this month or last month with Face Hunter. So it's definitely possible. Orange took it to Worlds. But it's not the best deck. It's like the 7th class out of 9. It's not good.
Yeah,
he's the only one that took Hunter, isn't it?
That's correct.
Yeah. And I don't know whether that's him being on brand for being a Hunter player and knowing that, like, obviously he wants to win Worlds, but obviously he wants to stand out as someone who's made cool choices. Mm-hmm. So at the very least, even though he didn't make top 8, like, Orange can take away the guy. He was the guy that brought Hunter to Worlds and wasn't knocked out immediately.
The one guy. I think it did okay. I don't know, though.
Yeah. I mean, it does do pretty well in a slightly more control-heavy environment. But, it didn't get him there. It's a shame. Sad for Orange.
You never, the tournament meta is so much different from your ladder meta. So.
Oh, yeah.
I guess they have a few more options. Oh, so what's that?
Some wildlife.
Some kind of bird?
I was going to say, I wonder if you can hear that. These are sulfur-crested cockatoos. So basically white parrots with yellow plumage on the top of their head. And there's a few of them in the park flying around making noises. That's something else that my podcast has is wildlife.
Yes, I do like hearing that in the background when you're walking in. It's quite pleasant. I usually, when your podcasts come out, I usually like put it at the top of my list because it's nice way to start out the morning. Nice and pleasant hearing the animals in the background. And you're just walking to work. And I'm like, okay, I'm driving to work. Here we go.
Surely all the hedge trimmers and lawnmowers just give you flashbacks to work, though. Like, ugh.
Yeah, I'm so like numb to that. It just goes in one ear and out the other. It's like it's background white noise to me anymore.
It probably doesn't even show up on the recordings that well for me, but like every time I come across somebody mowing a lawn or using a hedge trimmer or whatever, it tilts me off the planet of the earth. My listeners think it's hilarious.
It is.
Yeah, there's a picture someone found of some guy wearing 2 leaf blowers. Like one on his front, one on his back, one on each hand. They're like, this has to be Blister Guys and Boss. Why? I mean, leaf blowers to begin with. Like just sweep of them if you want. But blowing them around, you're not even picking them up. I mean, come on. Don't get me started. You've already got me started.
Well, it depends. If people weren't so fussy about how clean their sidewalks were, it wouldn't be so difficult. But
yeah, but you could use a broom.
Every little speck of dust off, man. You got so many sidewalks to get done. It's just, whew.
You could use a broom to do the same thing, though, without much more effort and a great deal less disturbance and noise and pollution, for that matter, Yeah, let's just burn some gas moving leaves around. We haven't figured out how to do that any other way. Jeez.
Yeah, no, I don't use too many rakes, I guess. I got a couple of those on the truck, I think.
Exactly.
I had a question about your show, because I don't listen as frequently. Have you made Legend while walking to work?
Yep.
Dead to me, Fred. Dead. No, I have.
I'm gonna kill the call right now. It's like, I'm done.
I heard that episode.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you. I know you listen. Yeah, I did. There was it could happen any week right now as well. Like I'm rattling around low rank 1 at the moment, but there was an episode a couple of months ago where I started the episode at rank 1 star. And usually I do 2 games in an episode. But like the first 2 games went really, really quickly. I was like, I guess if I'm ranked 1 3 stars now, I should just keep queuing. And I just rattled off a quick 4 or 5-0 or something silly and made Legend while recording. If you ever want to look at a map, I live in Neutral Bay in Sydney. And I walk to Milson's Point train station. So I was walking around under the Harbour Bridge, Sydney Harbour Bridge, a landmark that most people know, as I hit Legend. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
And I think that was Legend finish number 9. So we could say that Hearth Coach has certainly helped me hit Legend many times now.
Very cool. Now,
glad to be of assistance.
You also,
it's all good.
You also do these infographics.
Yeah. So one of the things that I started doing, like because I was having to find deck lists to play on Walk to Work, I would be looking at deck lists on Twitter a lot, and I was trying to decide on a Reno Mage deck list I wanted to play. And I was like, I can't figure it out. So I put like 4 or 5 of them together in Photoshop so I could compare them next to each other. And went, that looks pretty cool. I might tweet that out. And somehow a year later, I'm still doing that pretty regularly. I've refined how they look a bit. But I think I had nearly 1,400 Twitter followers when I did the first one. And now I'm like 4,800 or something silly. So people like seeing deck lists on Twitter. That's just something else that I've been doing. And it was just a happy accident. And I just kept doing it. And it apparently just gets me out there. I mean, I'm no Ahiron, the dude who does all the deck lists. He's like 19K followers or something silly, but apparently I'm doing all right in the Hearthstone community world.
That's pretty good.
I'd say.
Yeah.
Hearthstone community is pretty cool.
It's a great community. Like you see so many other gaming communities that can be hostile or toxic or even just a little elitist, and you get a little bit of that in Hearthstone World. But by and large, I've found, especially in like all the Discords and Twitters, we've got a lot of really supportive people, and I think it's because the game appeals to people who are a little more mature and older, who have lives that mean they can't just sit at a computer gaming all day. So like we get people who understand this and who are a little more understanding and nicer, and it's just such a great welcoming community, I think.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So, did you say you play on the America server, right? So, is that a choice or is that what you have to do?
No, it's what we get put on. Like even before Hearthstone, I used to play World of Warcraft like 2006 or something. When you sign into the game, it offers you the NA server. I think it's because they assume, like say in World of Warcraft, you want to chat a lot with the other players. It would make sense that you would chat with American players because common language. So New Zealand and Australian players, by and large, play on NA, even though there are now Asia servers and things like that. For World of Warcraft, they have APAC servers now for Australian and New Zealand players, just because being so far away, like the ping would actually make a difference. And it doesn't make a difference for Hearthstone. It's just because of Blizzard's already established infrastructure, we fall under the NA umbrella.
No, I was gonna say that you could claim you have the champion from the server, but you don't. It's from the region, but not from the server because Tom plays in the APAC server. So
yeah, and I've been to Taiwan a couple of times, so I'm gonna claim him as a personal friend. I think that's only fair.
Yeah, just go for it. You're close
me and
enough.
Tom go way back. Yeah, of course.
You're closer than
an actual friend of mine who plays Magic professionally tweeted about Tom winning. So I think that's closest degrees of separation we can get. It'll do.
Take it, because you're closer than any of us will be all the way from here. Okay, well we're running a little bit out of time. We're trying to keep it on time here, on schedule.
I mean, I want to say I haven't been watching the stream because I'm at work, but I have been watching the stream. And you guys have been hitting the schedule perfectly. It's fantastic. I don't want to step on Cora's toes. If it's time for Cora, then I'm going to step aside and let the champion herself come on.
Cora's next. I
think she's done all 3 of our anniversary shows now, if I'm not mistaken. She was on the last one.
Well, she wasn't on the Firebat one, I don't think, because that was the first.
That? Okay, right. That was our first year, not 100.
Yes.
Cora's involvement with Coin Concede was one of the reasons as well that I started a podcast. Like, because I know I want to get into Hearthstone casting one day, and knowing that she was getting into Hearthstone casting via podcasting and things, well, also via just being incredibly good at it. That was another one of the reasons I wanted to get into podcasting. So I have a lot of respect and admiration for her as well.
It's been fun to watch her move over there and have the success she's had. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got the extra treat of meeting her here in person. And she's in the chat, and she's asking, when did she get the title of champion that you just gave her?
Champion in my heart, Cora. Seriously. I mean, don't tell my wife, but like champion in my heart. She's incredible. She's fantastic. Love all the works she does.
Yeah, we got to meet her in person. It was awesome, and her brother was competing, and he got far. It was a lot of fun here in Atlanta.
Sir Slip sounds fantastic as well. I agree.
Yeah, he's a good dude. All right. Well, thank you, friend.
Anything else you want to plug? Walk to Work's where you find you. Blister Guys on Twitter.
Yep, Walk to Work HS, Twitter and Facebook. At Blister Guys, the easiest way to get hold of me. If you want to find my podcast, just search Hearthstone in most providers. I guess iTunes isn't very good for that. If you search for Walk to Work, just the words, you should be able to find it. Come hang out, have fun. But most importantly, enjoy the rest of this anniversary special for Hearth Coach. These guys are fantastic.
Thank you, friend.
Well, thank you so much, and thanks for taking the time.
Anytime.
Talk later. Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right, let's bring on. She's in the chat. She messaged me that she's ready. Let's bring her on.
Let's do it.
So she's been on 100 and on the 2nd anniversary, right?
Okay.
That's probably
she's been on a couple times.
That's probably what you're thinking about. So.
I knew it was like events that she's been on for.
Yes. Oh, there she
is. Another event. Hey, Cora.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Not much. We are doing well.
Good.
It's been a freaking awesome night. And now here we are with you, friend. How are you doing?
I'm great. I really am. Been very busy, but I've had some time off recently, and I'm just sort of soaking it in, before the rest of the year kicks off with a bang.
Well, yeah, you went to like China and stuff this year, right? Correct?
Yeah, I was in China for about 3 weeks. I left the day after Thanksgiving, and I came back the 11th of December. It was fantastic. It was incredible. Exhausting.
Oh, I imagine.
But it was really, really amazing. So hopefully I'll get a chance to go back at some point.
Yeah, that is very, very cool. We feel like fortunate because we had you on the show before you started doing all your casting stuff, and we've been able to watch you do your podcast and then move over to doing all that cool casting stuff. So and here you are. You're still like talking to us.
I mean, coming into this today, I was trying to remember when the first time I was on the show was, because I'm pretty sure I've been on
twice,
at least two times.
At least, because I know we've had you on for events, and I was trying to remember. I thought maybe it was all but I guess it was episode 100, and then our second anniversary.
But I think like the first time I was on had to have been late 2015, early 2016-ish. It was back when I'm pretty sure we did a Secret Paladin episode, so it was a really long time ago.
Yes, it was. Wow, Secret Paladin.
Yeah, that was the first time we had you on because you tore apart the ladder with that Secret Paladin.
Oh man, that was my competitive peak, guys. From there, it's all been downhill. But yeah, I mean, so much has changed in that time. But you guys you've been keeping strong since then. I mean, that is freaking incredible accomplishment. Congratulations on
thank you
3 consecutive years without a missed show. I cannot imagine the commitment. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's I've gotten a Blizzard dev on here today, and
so exciting.
I know, and it went so well. My ADD self didn't interrupt them too much or anything. I was like, just be quiet, let the man talk, Dan.
You didn't go down a rabbit hole or anything, Dan. You kept on point. I was telling Dan, I'm like, I don't know that we have enough questions here because 30 minutes, but he went into these answers and he was just going. It was okay. This is gonna be fine. We're gonna be good.
That's so awesome.
I remember we were like fairway through, and I looked over and we had already gone through like 20 minutes. I had maybe 10 minutes. I was like, oh yeah, perfect. And closed on his poem. I don't know if anybody's got him doing poetry on the podcast yet. So
that might be a first.
I'm hoping.
You guys got something special.
I'm hoping.
Oh my goodness!
You guys got a sick lineup for this show. So kudos to you. It's awesome.
That took a ton of effort to get that put together, but we're glad that we finally got to do it.
And it only took a couple of years, emails, but hey, well worth it. So just timing couldn't have worked out better. So
awesome.
Finally landing the guest for the third anniversary show. Hey, no, it wasn't like the second time. Yeah, it was the first time.
Like you said, the lineup is people that we've met in person. We've been. I feel like we've been together on this journey from this game that was beta to podcasting to casting to competitive, and we wanted to have a good mix of other content creators, players.
Yeah. Well,
the whole works.
Cora, you guys have been doing you guys came in like right after we did, I believe, with the podcast. You guys are only I don't know. It's only like a few episodes behind us.
We've taken some episodes off. We are on episode 121, 122, something like that. But yeah, we've missed weeks, and obviously I've been MIA for a lot of it over the last year. So yeah, I try to come back in when I can. And if any of the hosts are ever missing and I'm available, I like to come back in. But it really is nice to just be able to I guess step back and look at sort of what I helped set the foundation for, because really, Kenny has done the most work out of anybody, bar none, hands down. Kenny has outperformed anything that I ever could have done for Coin Concede, but it is really nice to, I guess, just sort of look at them paving their own way. We've got coaching sessions that my brother is a part of now. We've got, patrons, and we've got an incredible Discord, and it's the podcast community has been so special to me over all of these years. And like when I think back to, you know, when I first started, you know, guesting for you guys, when I guested for like Death Rattle Crew and so many others. Like, yeah, so much has changed since then. And
didn't you do the Angry Chicken once?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
I did not do. Did I do Angry Chicken?
I thought. Oh, hey, don't.
I don't think. You know what? Honestly, I don't remember. I don't think I did Angry Chicken.
I probably just heard you mention because they talk about you know, all the podcasting and the streams and whatnot. So
hopefully, I'll have to get in contact. But yeah, it you know, I love podcasts, and I love getting a chance to come and hang out with you guys every once in a while. And it really was like super special to get a chance to meet you guys and you know, Avantes and Zeroshio at Atlanta this year. That was one of the highlights of my year was getting to actually meet you guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, ours too. And your brother was real good too. We did a little interview with him, and he was great. Yep. And he didn't do too badly. He had made quite a run at that one.
Yeah, that was Sage's like competitive Hearthstone peak. He top 8'd at Atlanta. So like that event in general was the first event he ever came with for me. It was the first event where I got to meet so many of you guys. And yeah, it was really special. So it's nice to be able to sort of bring it in for this and like think back on the year, because it really was like a huge whirlwind. And yeah, it's just, you know, I'm very lucky.
Yeah, we've all had some fairly interesting years.
Yeah, you had some tough times, man. How are things going?
It's all worked out. I'm here in my new home. I got a new truck over the weekend for a wedding present. So it's it's all worked out. It was in the moment it was missed the show for at least a week or so there. And man, we kept up doing the show, but it wasn't quite as polished as we were here. But man, the response the community gave was just with my GoFundMe page and all you awesome people, you know, helping promote it and tweet it and everything. So yeah, the Hearthstone community is so cool, so awesome.
Yeah,
I'm so glad to hear that things are going better. That's
it's all really worked out. Yeah, the wedding's coming up in April.
Oh my goodness, that's so exciting.
Yeah,
I know, it's gonna happen.
I know.
Is Ronnie the ring bearer? No.
Oh goodness.
Are you gonna be there, Fred?
I'm planning on it for sure. Gonna go down to Gainesville, check it out.
Oh hell yeah!
Hey, hey, it's on campus, and you know, anybody you're going to be passing through Gainesville September 14th, hey, let me know.
That's a nice campus. I've been through it. It's big. It's huge.
Yes.
But it's nice. And, yes.
Yeah, it's cool because where we're having it is a place I help maintain. It's a really high quality area on campus. It's one of those spots where I put the feather in the cap, and because not everybody is even allowed to like work in this particular area. It cracks me because like my old crew, everybody got banned except for me from working in Wilmot Gardens. It's the kind of high level area, and I'm hoping that all the camellias are going to be blooming good when we have the wedding. I'm crossing my fingers. It's going to be like coming close to the end of camellia blooming season, but that's what the Wilmot Gardens is. It's a lot of camellia flowers and stuff. So anyway, that's about the wedding anyhow.
I'm sorry, the chat is exploding with some people came back and they're seeing Cora and they're just going nuts. And they're asking me if I'm going to coach the wedding.
Do it!
Like, Dan, no.
Live stream the wedding.
Stand here.
Play.
Live stream the wedding. Oh, I don't know, Fred.
He's walking down the aisle. He's taking his time, but he's not going too slow.
Just say I do. That's all you have to do. Just say I do. No more.
He looks nervous. A bead of sweat drips down his forehead.
Oh goodness!
Gosh, that would be tremendous. We were toying also with like, I don't know if we'll pull it off or not, but doing like having just like a costume wedding.
Yep. I have plenty of costumes, Dan, I can pull out of the attic. So
it started out as a joke because I have a picture of me wearing this purple zoot suit. That's it's a costume that I wore in a play one time, and I just as a joke, I was like, yeah, maybe I'll wear the purple zoot suit for the wedding. And of course, my lovely bride looked at me and she was like, well, just as long as I can dress up as Pinkie Pie. And I was like, I love you. So
I just
we'll
want
see
to
if that happens or not. But
yeah,
the wedding's happening. We'll see if we pull off costumes or not. But yeah, we won't be opposed.
Oh my gosh,
it's all exciting. So what?
Good stuff.
Cora, about you this 2018, what is it looking like? I mean, what are you gonna be doing?
I have one event coming up. And let's just say I am planning on diversifying a little bit.
Ooh.
So I'm hoping to be involved in lots and lots of Hearthstone events this year. I'm really looking forward to potentially some more North American Dream Hacks.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see you in November.
I hope so. As far as everything, I don't have anything planned yet. A lot of the events that I do are not booked too far out as far as casters, so I really don't know until much closer to the event. And right now things are sort of like the next couple of months are just points gaining season, so there's not too much going on. There's a couple of HCT tour stops, I guess, but I don't know if I'm involved in anything like that as of yet. But yeah, I will be diversifying a little bit. I may be adding a game. Ooh. And as soon as I'm allowed to talk about anything, of course, I will let everybody know. But
look forward to hearing about it.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I'm very excited. So Hearthstone will always be first and foremost in my heart. But I've had a little bit too much downtime the last month and a half. And I've still got some college loans that I need to pay off. So as much work as I could possibly do while I'm young and relatively well rested, I would like to do it. So I'm hoping to be very busy this year, which unfortunately means less time for podcasting. But more people that I get to meet, more work that I get to do, more experience. So
we thoroughly enjoy you when you get to make it on the Coin Conceit show, but we totally understand having a job and need to make a couple dollars as a new homeowner. I often contemplate alternative sources of income myself. So
we no matter what you're doing, there's always that. I mean, I've done side things whenever I can, and thankfully now, we both work, so we're in good shape. But I used to teach on the side, as you remember, at Georgia State, so that was to bring some extra income to buy the computer that I'm podcasting from and all that stuff. So that's we all do what we need to. But in terms of competitive, you don't think that's okay? So you're thinking about competing?
Or is it going to be competitive with the new game?
No, not competitive with the new game. The new game is something that I play a lot for fun. And if you guys follow me on Twitter, you could probably figure it out because it's all I talk about. But I play this game a lot for fun, and I am just very excited to figure out if it's something that I could potentially cast. But as far as Hearthstone, now is kind of an interesting time because I do have a lot of free time, and because I have not casted any HCT events this year, and I don't believe that I will be. Technically, I am eligible to compete and gather points. So I don't know if I feel the competitive bug sort of bite, and I decide that I want to stay up for 12 hours playing double elimination tournaments for some of these HCT online qualifiers, then I would like to. I mean, I'm still playing as much as I always have. I think I'm rank 2 right now. I'll make the run for Legend.
I was gonna say, I know
in the next couple of days or something.
On my friends list, they're pretty regular. I'm looking around, I was like, oh yeah, there's Cora.
Yeah, I mean, wake up, roll out of bed. Hearthstone's the first thing I do pretty much every day over coffee. So it's I still play just as much Hearthstone as I used to, but I haven't played in a competitive capacity in a couple of years now. So I don't know. It's something that I would definitely love to do. I still am as competitive as ever. Yeah, we'll have to see.
I think
we'll keep up with you. And
reason I'm asking is because I'd like to see that again. I just if you think about the competitive scene, there's still a lack of female representation, and especially competitively. And you've obviously have the knowledge. It's just about putting in the time and doing all that stuff. It's a grind.
It's something I would definitely have to work at. I'm really lucky to have a really great group of friends and competitive players who I'm pretty close to in the scene, who definitely I could work with if I wanted to get back into competitive Hearthstone. Ray C, Ant, Sidonia, Dr. J, them. Really good friends with those guys. So if I wanted to, they would absolutely have my back and be able to help me out and get back into peak competitive form. But I don't know. Obviously, I went to school for broadcast, and casting just sort of seems to fit. And it does feel like there is so little female representation in the Hearthstone scene in general that it feels like I'm doing a lot of work right now. And it feels to me like I'm making. I guess I'm making a difference. It's still, every event that I go to, when I get people coming up to me and thanking me for the work that I'm doing and telling me they appreciate my casting. It's like, 2 years ago I was nothing. I was in college. Like I was just a casual playing some Hearthstone because that was what I wanted to do. And I was lucky enough that my gender somehow made me unique enough to put myself in this position. So. Well, I don't know. I feel like I'm in the right spot right now.
It might help a little bit. I think that a lot of the the good skills and everything.
Yeah, it's not just the gender, right?
The fact that they happen to be attached to a female, might help some, but you got to have the skills too.
It's always something that it's good and bad. It comes with its positives and its negatives. Right. So you just gotta weigh those and use them to your advantage. So I'm very lucky that I'm in a position to use it to maybe benefit some others. So I feel good right now. I feel like I'm doing what I love, and it's
very good.
Great.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yep. When
it's really nice, guys.
When you rattle,
really nice.
There's nothing wrong with that.
You rattled off those real pro players that help you. We've had everyone on the show except Ant. Ant agreed. I just haven't been able to work out the details, but he's gonna do it.
I'm sure you can get him.
It's just a matter of time.
I know that everybody online says that Ant is like the nicest guy in the world. Ant is literally like the nicest guy in the world.
We met him in person. He's just like awesome.
Yeah. And then like Dr. J and Sidonia are maybe gonna get into some casting. I got to do some TESPA events with them this year. What else? Ray C obviously does his own podcast now as well with Danny Donuts. All those guys are really, really good. I guess really diverse when it comes to their Hearthstone talents. So I found a good group of friends.
Excellent.
There's mad speculation. I said I was teaching, and everybody wants to know what it is. There's guesses around PE. Calculus,
music theory. Oh God, music theory. Fun fact, I was a music minor for about 2 years in college before I figured out that I was likely going to be able to graduate early and wouldn't have the time to actually complete my minor. So I did 2 years, and I did like 2 or 3 levels of music theory and hated every second of it. And when I finally realized that I was going to graduate early, I was like, oh, thank God. And I dropped that minor so fast.
Were you like playing an instrument or just reading music?
No, I sing. Yeah, singing.
You sing. Okay. Yeah. Well, you still doing?
Her stream was singing.
Singing for like a little karaoke or anything once in a while.
Okay, well, I guess a little background. So Songbird, which I guess is technically my battle tag, even though everybody calls me Cora because I just introduced myself as Cora. I used to sing at weddings. I sang at weddings when I was 16, like 16 through 18 until I went off to college. So I semi-professionally, I guess.
I know this.
Yeah, and I've been in a cappella groups my whole life, choirs, voice lessons. Yeah, my grandmother was an opera singer, so I just.
Okay.
Yeah, I've sung my whole life. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you just not that into it, or just?
Oh no, it's music is my favorite thing in the whole world. Growing up, I always wanted to be a singer, but it.
Just that music theory I love music, but I couldn't keep a beat to save my life.
Yeah, it's not even that. It's like I guess the music that I would want to sing isn't music that they teach you in college, right? I'm technically a classically trained soprano. I took music lessons for like 15 years, but I don't know. It's just not. I didn't want to be an opera singer. I didn't want to be a musical theater person. So it just wasn't something that I could go to school for. And I had always known that I would have to go to school, get my degree, and if music didn't pan out, like I'd always had that opportunity, then pursue something else. And it just so happened that Hearthstone fell into my lap, and I would have been a fool to, give up something that I love to potentially pursue something else. So I try to push them together as much as I possibly can. But usually that just results in me singing on my once monthly stream.
I've been looking for him. Where's Cora? No Cora.
I can see Cora fronting the power metal band.
So
like a Floor Jansen or something.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
You like Lightwish? You know Lightwish? Epica?
No, I don't. Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
I'm not big.
All right, when we get done with this, you need to go and look up some of the newest Nightwish with Floor Jansen singing.
I'm always looking for new stuff to listen to.
Yeah, I see Cora doing some power metal.
There's a wedding coming up. I don't know.
That's right. There is a wedding coming up.
Interesting.
Go back to the old times.
Oh man, yeah, good times. So much has changed since I was 16 years old.
That wasn't that long ago, I'm sure. So let's not talk about it.
Yeah, it's a good time. But
28.
Yeah, I mean, music is always. If somebody up and offered me a recording contract today to go be a singer, I would drop everything like a hot potato and go. But this has never happened.
Yeah, I keep hoping that I'll get the call from like Hatebreed or somebody to want me to go out on the road and tech for them, but it just that phone call just doesn't come.
Yeah.
Unlucky, Dan.
Well, with that, I try not to cry too much about not being lucky.
We talk about video games for fun. Like,
yeah. From my new house with my new car, with my new truck out front, it just feels wrong to whine much right now.
I think we're doing all right. Yeah.
Oh,
all right.
So
well,
we've been
things?
Going on.
Yeah, no, I mean, Rod is in the chat. He's next, so I'm sure he's fine with this.
Yay.
That we're going over.
Just a little.
Me, I can talk.
Yeah, but we. So what do you want to plug here for our audience before we
pluggity plug?
Go for it.
Oh man. First and foremost, Coin Concede. Make sure you go to coinconcede.com or twitch.tv/coinconcede podcast. They record every week. Kenny, Bodicus, and Ridiculous Hat are the heart and soul of that show, and I pop on occasionally. So if you guys don't already follow Coin Concede, please go give them a shot. It really is a show that I love so incredibly much, and would be very, very honored if you would go and give them a listen. Myself, Twitter, I'm at songbird_HS, twitch.tv/songbird_Cora. Maybe I'll stream. No promises. I've learned to stop making those promises because I'm really bad at keeping them. But I guess just keep an eye out. I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff this year. I'm very excited. Whenever I get to announce my new venture,
please let us know.
I'm very excited.
We'll
to
give you a little shout out and a tweet and what we can to help out.
Absolutely.
But please let us know when you know more and you can tell us.
And if anybody's interested in music, there may be rumors of myself. And I don't know if you've heard of a streamer called Trump. He plays the piano. We may be figuring out a duet for some time. So
I want to hear.
We're taking. If anybody's got song suggestions, Trump and I, there could be a little something going down there. Because apparently not enough people in this freaking Hearthstone scene know that I actually sing music.
So what do we want? What are we gonna do? Show tunes or?
I don't know. He was looking at like game theme songs, but I was like, Trump, I sing country music mostly, and then he was like, I'll do anything. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I think he's open to something. He's open to a lot. Of course.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, keep us posted so we can plug it in.
We'll see.
So.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay. But yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on. Congratulations again. 3 years is an incredible achievement, and I have very fond memories of coming on your show with you guys, getting to play some Hearthstone, getting to meet you in Atlanta as well. So yeah, it's been an absolute joy to get to know you guys over the course of this incredible Hearthstone journey, and I wish you the absolute best moving forward.
Well, same to you, friend, and we'll have you back on sometime. Probably for another big event. Oh, we will. And hopefully we'll see you in November.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Congratulations again.
Thanks, Cora. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Okay.
All right.
Whew.
We got one more.
Doing good. Yeah.
There might be an extra one if we so feel inclined.
Oh, okay. A surprise guest?
Yeah. One of our last entry. From Coin Concede. We'll see.
Okay.
There he is.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, guys? I mean,
not much. How's it going?
Let me change your label because it says Songbird, and people are gonna freak out. They're like, "What is this?"
I'm not that pretty. That's for sure. I mean, after the lineup you guys have had all night to end with me, I don't know what. You might want to look at the word "letdown" in the dictionary, but I'm here for sure.
No, not at all, friend.
Who put together this lineup? Who put you last? This is a mistake.
I was like, do you guys realize how this setup goes? I'm like, I should have been like the opening act. I used to get thrown tomatoes.
Well, we had to like space it out. You were like the last one, the most recent of all the guests.
I know.
We had like, okay, well, so we'll put them last. So at least then we space it out as much as we can.
And I'm not sure you want to follow Dave Kosak. Be like, oh my god, yeah. We're still like glowing.
I know.
Those guys. I mean, you had to go right after, but it's like after Cora, that's pretty top tier right now, right? So
I know.
Thanks for having again, though, guys.
For coming.
I know, we had you so recently. I mean, you're all over the place nowadays. I mean,
dude, the week I'm having right now, I'm filling in for Sika on Hearth Coach or Hero Power this week. Obviously, you guys are Hearth Coach. I'm doing. My brother recently started up a Hearthstone podcast, so I'm doing that later. I'm doing my own podcast. I'm doing UHL. Right. All over the place, guys.
Yeah, what's your podcast?
It's a tier 5, guys.
It's a good one.
It's fun. It's a good time. It's it's goofy.
It's on my list.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that.
There's so many. It's it's a whirlwind.
It's nuts.
I know we've talked about the progression. Like when I said this earlier, but when we started this, we were like the 6th or 7th, and I was like, "Whew, man, it's getting crowded." I was like, well, we're doing something really different than the other guys, completely different. So I'm like, oh, well, hey, we'll be okay. And then, man, they just kept coming. And the last time I went down, no, they weren't all active. I've counted up to like 40 podcasts.
It's like, I think someone told me, I think it might have been Blister Guy, that like tier 5 was like in like the mid 20s and like Hearthstone rankings. So it's on iTunes. So there are a lot out there. And I know that like in the last couple of weeks more have started, so it's
crazy.
Yeah, my brother started one recently. They're doing a Hearthstone podcast about Hearthstone podcasts.
Okay, is that
you guys?
We mentioned that earlier. That's your brother. Okay,
that's my little brother. Yeah, and then
name of it again?
It's called The Daring Reporter.
Yeah, that makes sense. I want to listen to that for sure. How many is it out already?
Yeah, they're like 4 episodes in or something like that. They did a test episode and then done like 3 or 4 more, or 4 more, I think is what they've done. So they're doing a good work of just exposing everyone to the community. So it's fun. They're actually, like I said, I'm recording with them later on tonight just to do an interview. So that's gonna be fun.
That's super meta. That there's a podcast about podcasts.
Ro made a joke about it, and he was like, someone's coming after my job when they're doing a podcast about just Hearthstone podcasts. So
we were talking about it with Kenny, the guy from Blizzard that we chatted with before Dave came on. We were like, man, there's so many now. And we mentioned that there's so many that there's even now a podcast about the podcast.
Yeah, it's nuts because like even like I'm friends with some other little ones that are starting up and haven't got as much exposure. I have a couple buddies who are doing a Into the Wild, which is just a Wild exclusive one now. So I mean,
see, that's good because there's I don't know. Is there any other ones about the Wild?
I don't know. No, that's the only one. I mean, other ones talk about it. I know that like there are other ones
not
like
Wild focused.
Yeah,
we
did.
We did. We did one episode Wild. Remember one of those times where the meta is like at the end, and there's like, we don't know what to play anymore. Let's play Wild. We've done that like once. So
yeah, like a week before a set came out.
Yeah, it's like no point in playing anything else here. So
yeah, I mean, I know there are people like Cream Puff will sit there and do Cream Puff double legends every season. So it's like not everyone has that depth of knowledge about Hearthstone. I
did it one time just to say okay, but then that's good enough for me.
Dude, I'm struggling with the ladder right now as it is bad enough that I can't it's, you've started hearing it in Twitter and other Hearthstone podcasts. This meta isn't like it's aggravating. Yeah, it's rough. I listened to your guys' episode from last week, Dan, and everything you said, it really holds true to me. It's one of those things where it's so rock, paper, scissors at this point where how you play the game doesn't often matter. So luckily I have other things to do, like this UHL league where I'm in, to keep me busy. So
yeah, we're doing the SHL league.
Yeah. We've been cool. Rough. It's been a mess.
That could have gone better.
I felt bad for you guys, man. I was like, you were talking about it this week, and you're like, it sounds like you're low rolling the last couple weeks, and it's like, oh man.
Dude, my last week was even worse. The first match I drew the ass end of my deck first. That was with my rogue.
Yeah.
And then my the mage deck didn't draw any secrets. And then I just got high rolled when I played my paladin. I just couldn't get anything going, and they just had all the synergy and just
this week so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ban the priest like I normally do. That he had a mage.
Yeah.
And then he starts playing it, and it's like that big spells mage. I'm like, I'm screwed. I have nothing against this. I'm dead.
Yeah.
So the Temple Rogue, I got close, but I lost. But then somehow with Druid, I managed to just go aggro and just kill him quickly enough. And then I managed to sweep. So it's the first win of the season. I was like, yeah. But it was, oh my God, I thought I was going to lose again because that mage, there was nothing in my lineup against it. I mean, that thing that's the like Frozen. Is it Frozen? Did he bring that big spells mage? Yeah, that thing. Oh my gosh.
That deck actually is driving me nuts because of the HCT, like all that stuff is like
the bump. Yeah.
Well, I was playing a little bit on the ladder last night, and I faced 2 or 3 of them in a row, and someone was talking about it, but it wasn't you guys, was it? Someone was talking about how like people like rope every turn because of the they're like, oh, I'm thinking real hard, and I'm gonna be a pro Hearthstone player now, and it's like. Dude, it's the 20.
Thinking.
Yeah, it's the 21st of the month, and you're like sitting there roping like you're in the Hearthstone Championship. It's like, come on.
I think I may comment on that every now and then. Or Dan will say he's really thinking hard at what to do with his 3 mana. It's like
it's one of those things where I don't care that you're thinking, but it's like when you do it I'm taking a game that should take, 7-8 minutes, and it takes 15 because you're roping me every turn.
Yeah.
I'm like...
I said life coach retired a while ago, man. No need to recreate his specialty.
I'm ranked 9, guys. It's not like you're legend, top 200 legend. Come on.
The other thing I've noticed is some people will just... When they've lost, they just leave the game, but they don't concede. And you're like, what are you doing? Like, let's get on with it. It's over.
I actually lost to a guy on ladder over the weekend that didn't play the first 4 turns. And because I was I just didn't draw very well. And I'm like, oh, man. That's one of those things that you go, You talk about like tilting. You go, this guy didn't even play the first 4 turns, and I still lost. Come on.
Oh man, I've had the occasional game where maybe not the first 4. That's pretty extreme, but they miss a turn in the middle, and I still lose. I'm like, man, I was destined to lose no matter what because it's like playing that dragon. What is it, Temporus for free or the Mage Quest, and it's still not good enough. God. So bad.
It's the thing where it's the point with this meta where there's so many viable decks, right? That they really don't like certain matchups. You have a really, really hard time winning regardless right now, and so that's what's really feels bad about this meta. It's you can play as well as you can sometimes, and you lose anyways, and it seems worse than usual right now. I mean. It's the 20.
Seems to be a lot of that going around.
No, and even in the league, I think we have a new team. There's 2 new players or listeners that never competed, and they're just getting destroyed and they're getting discouraged. And we're like, hey man, don't. Look at it happened to me 2 weeks in a row, and I'm supposed to be this high-powered guy. It's like the meta is just rough, and you don't want to take it too hard, too bad. It's just like you said, you maybe. And I even reviewed one of he posted the replays, and I was like, maybe the mulligan could have been better. But other than that, you just got steamrolled, and there's nothing you could do. It's like
I've been having more success with like Dragon Summoner than any other deck I've had this season, and like even then I got rolled over by an aggro paladin by turn 4. Like I lost in turn 4 or 5 yesterday. So it's one of those things where you just don't. It doesn't matter sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. So that's one of those things where I've played less games this season than I've played in a long time. I'm at like 120 games this season, which is not a lot for me. Yeah. So, I bet.
Even look at the way Tom won with like the 10-10 Van Cleef. Like that happens in the ladder every now and then. And what are you supposed to do? Nobody can stop it if you don't draw something. So
it's one of those things where you go, this rotation is going to be real important, but it's the thing where we don't know if all these cards in one year, like they did for the first time this year, is a good thing for the meta, So it's interesting.
It seems like it would be, I don't know, there is a bit of diversity this time. It seems like when we got ready for the first big shift where we rotated cards through, it was that there was like the one shaman deck everybody was playing because I know I was playing it too.
Yeah.
And but that didn't seem as, I don't know, people were like aggravated that there was just kind of the one deck, but I don't know, it didn't seem like people were still as aggravated with the meta as they are now. Even with the diversity. Maybe it's me, but it's kind of the way it feels.
I mean, I hit Legend last month on like the 18th or 19th, and this month I'm ranked 9 on the 22nd. And so that's just kind of a feeling on how the game is right now, and just how, I don't know, it's a weird situation, right? It's in a weird state. So.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. It is.
Yeah.
Dan did better last month too. I
had a lot more time.
Yeah, there was a time factor.
The whole grind thing.
And I think I was earlier talking to Language Hacker. This is the first month that actually counts. So I wonder if there's some of that. Everybody just trying harder, even at rank 9. I mean, that would be surprising at this stage, but you never know. I mean,
it's one of those things I think that people, regardless on the ladder, are kind of tryharding most of the time. Like, I think you get above rank 15 and people are tryharding, especially, it doesn't matter when in the month. Like, people are playing their, like, the best decks regardless, right? So,
yeah, that's true. You'll see all the stuff once you get past that, for sure. So,
yeah, I mean, I play Wild every couple months, and it's like you'll sit there and you're like rank 20 playing meta decks in Wild, and it's like, it's the net decking has hit everywhere in the game if you play the game, it seems like. So, and I mean, I net deck my butt off myself, so I mean, I can't talk about it, but it's just one of those things where sometimes, especially with all these cards out, you go, man, I don't know what it's doing to the base game, So, It's luckily.
I don't think there's a whole lot.
No, go ahead, Dan. I was just saying it's. I don't think they're doing anything wrong. I just think it's one of those things that where this year especially it's a learning experience for them because this is the first time they released 3 full sets. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see if they do any adjustments, but this rotation is going to be huge because who knows what's going to happen now after this.
I mean, they said it, and did you guys talk about it? I'm not sure. Is the whole Ben Brode's tweet because that went around last week, where it sounds like they're going to nerf something. But
yeah, we didn't talk about it, but yeah, it's
there's not much to talk about. He was pretty vague about what's coming, and it's a ways down the road. So
we'll have to wait.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens and what changes and. I mean, I'm pretty sure they'll never print another card like Patches. I think we've learned that much, so right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Patches never really, bothered me that much.
He never bothered you, Dan, because you're an aggro player.
Yeah, well, that's true. I play aggro.
I actually like Patches.
Yeah.
I mean, I
play Patches all the time. What's wrong with Patches?
I just hate Patches when he shows up in your hand, right? That's when I hate Patches.
That's always a bummer.
Did you see?
Really?
I read a whole article when I was preparing, quote unquote, for this. It talked about the development of Patches, and it was like 2 years in the making. They wanted to put it in as a dragon first. That was a mistake, and they kept pushing it off. And I'm like, doesn't that tell you something? Like you should just not made it ever because it's a problem. But I guess they really wanted to do it, and it's like, well, here we are.
I feel like, as a whole, since Ben Brode took over, they haven't made nearly as many big boo boos, but Patches is I think a big boo boo. I don't think people
rotating out soon.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I don't think people would be complaining about him if it wasn't for Quarter Creeper. I mean, people would be complaining, but
that made it worse exactly because now you're just feeding stuff into the Creeper. Like, all right, just go for it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's just like the perfect storm, right? It's one of those things where you go, well, people would be complaining about Patches, but when he feeds a 5/5 for free by turn 2 or 3,
well, but the same thing can be said about Razakus Priest, right? The problem with it is the amount of cards that they kept giving to that deck to make it even more refined. It's like, okay, maybe Raza on its own is not a big problem, but Raza with all this stuff. I was listening to at Worlds the game that Surrender won against the Druid, the Armor Druid, which shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Did you hear how many times he hero powered?
I watched the game and I'm like, that's one of those things. If I'm playing Razakus Priest, I quit. I was sitting there and I'm like, there's no way he wins this game.
He calculated it.
How many was it?
He used the Shadow Reaper Anduin hero power 41 times during that one game. That is 82 damage from the hero power. And by the time he had like 5 cards left, he said, I knew that I won because he calculated it. I'm like, I can't do all this math that you're doing.
Yeah.
But that's crazy.
I have a hard enough time to defile turns. Like defile, I'm sitting there going 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm like,
I'm missing a 5. Wait, no, because of this. The Void Walkers, will that get me there? I don't know.
And I'm like, I don't know, man.
They counted it as like 41 hero powers, and then that's crazy. That's a problem. Like, I don't think it was ever intended to be that. So that's
Machine Gun Priest.
I know where it gets out of control. So
I think when you have something like that, and it's just that perfect combo of cards, right? It's like you're saying, Raza isn't all that bad by himself, but then you mix him in with Anduin. It's free and it refreshes, and you have a bunch of free spells. There's been a running thing in the last year or so, I keep hearing from people like Frodan, where zero mana spells are a problem in the game. Mm-hmm. And I think Priest is the perfect example of that, because you have a free silence, which is so you think about that, a free silence that could potentially do 4 damage at the same time is nuts.
Yep.
And it's the whole thing where you live in a game, and I said it, I think, while I was on with you guys, where you live in a game where you can't interact with your opponent on their turn, and so you could do whatever you want on your turn. It's a thing that you have to be super careful on what you produce card-wise.
I mean, they nerfed Ironbeak Owl because it costed 2 and it was too good. Yet a 0 mana silence is like, sure.
And then you mentioned what is it? Was the Druid card the 2/4?
Yeah,
that they nerfed?
The Keeper of the Grove. That was in every deck because it was a 2/4 silence or deal 2 on turn 4. It was beautiful. They went in every deck.
I forgot about that thing.
Yeah.
And all they've done for
it's a 2/2, right? 2/2. Yeah, it's 2 weak. So
it's the Ironbeak Owl's a 2/1, isn't he?
Yep. Yes.
2/1 for 3 now.
Yeah. Used to be 2. Yeah, but that back in the day was like he was in every deck alongside. That was back with the, Dr. Boom meta and whatnot.
Yeah, it was just for silence. Yeah. Nobody cares about the 2/1. It was just cheap silence that everybody could include. What Spellbreaker does now, but it's like, okay, Spellbreaker is a little clunky because it's expensive, and there's so many 4-drops. But anyway,
how nuts is it that Dr. Boom wouldn't even be that great of a card right now?
Yeah, I mean it's nuts, man. It's one of those things where the most broken legendaries in the game are 1 and 2 cost legendaries, right? It's like Patches and Kelseth. So I don't know if you guys
saw Kelseth coming.
I mean, but if you're talking about that kind of stuff, like Ancient of Lore, same thing. It was like, oh my god, it's too much because you 5/5 for 7, draw 2, and now it's like Ultimate Infestation. It's like, yeah, look at me.
Did you guys hear? I had read somewhere on Twitter, I think, where someone was saying that they're supposedly going to move Wild Growth into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, really?
And the other card that I've been hearing about, like Appa, who used to be on Coin Concede, was talking about it, was the Shadow Step. People are clamoring for them to Hall of Fame Shadow Step, and
they need a Hall of Fame.
Ice Block?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I did. I knew what you were going to say.
Dan's just ready for that to go.
I'm so tired of losing to the 3rd Ice Block.
He's like, I'm
really 3.
Just cycling through kills.
4 is the bad one, man. 4 is the bad one. I've beaten 4. I beat a Quest mage one day with 4 Ice Blocks who just didn't ever draw. He got down to like 3 cards. He must have been missing one of his combo pieces, and he just never did it. So
maybe it'll be this Ben Brode thing will end up being quite a few of these things we're talking about, like a swath of cards that just goes at once.
Well, they keep doing it where they nerfed like at least 3 or 4 cards at a time, right? They never do 1 card. So you have to think that they're going to hit multiple things, and if we can assume that they're Hall of Faming Ice Block and other stuff, there'll be other changes.
Yeah, I think Ice Block is a foregone conclusion at this point that they're just going to do it.
They basically printed out that they're moving into the Hall of Fame at this point, right? I mean, I have never heard them be more obvious about something, because they basically said at the beginning of this year that, like, yeah, we almost did Ice Block, but
almost.
It's not good
enough. Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, my friend.
I know.
Oh, goodness.
So it'll be interesting, and it's one of those things. I like speculating. I don't like, completely overhauling what they're going to do, but like, guessing with it. But like, it'll be interesting to see what it is, because you hear people talking about these last couple months are the doldrums of the game when people are losing interest again, right? So
yeah, and they always do stuff out of left field, like Fiery War Axe. And it was like, wait, what? And there was another. What was the other one?
Saw that coming.
Oh, Hex. It was Hex.
Yeah.
Like,
Hex always made sense to me, because Hex and Polymorph are the same dang thing, right? Basically, besides like the Hex giving the minion taunt, and it's a 0/1 instead of 1/1, but like that one attack and the taunt kind of equaled out. So it's like, it never made sense, right? Mm-hmm. You have Hex for 4, or you have Polymorph for 4 and Hex for 3, and you go, why? I mean, it's one of those things where you go, I don't know why that would happen right now, but
Yeah.
It's one of those.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's. I think the problem, we have to be careful of this, is when people complain about the classes being underpowered, they overcorrect, and so that's why like scary like priest people were like, priest is so bad, and I'm like, you guys, do you realize what you're asking for?
Yep,
because
exactly. I was listening again to some of these old interviews for this tonight's show for Dave, and they're like, are you doing anything for priest? Because it sucks right now. But the same thing happened with shaman. It's like, shaman sucks. And then when they gave it all the stuff, it was like, oh my god, let's get rid of shaman because we're tired. It's too much. But it's these problematic classes that, because of their, I don't know, their hero power, their design, they always are prone to either be relegated or be like top abusive like priest. Oh my god, because it there's no, like rogue for example, they're like in the mix always. They always have some kind of archetype, or mage, always see them. Yet there's these others that come and go, like warrior has disappeared all of a sudden. Nobody's playing warrior. It's like,
it's one of those things that UHL League I've talked about. You have to bring all the classes. I ended up bringing a Cthulhu Taunt Quest Warrior with absolutely zero cards from the new set. So that's the kind of set, like the world we live in with Warrior. And I mean, Warrior is if someone challenges me for 80 gold friend quest, I play Togwaggle Warrior because it's hysterical. So it's one of those things where I love these decks, but it's like, and Warrior can be one of the most rewarding classes in the game. It's just it's such in a bad state right now. So you have to wonder what's going to happen. And I don't know. I've kind of moved away from looking at Reddit, where a lot of the complaining starts.
I stopped a long time ago because it's too much.
I'm lucky it's in the habit I never picked up.
I used to read it all the time, and then it's like,
It's one of those things, it's where, especially when I got really involved in the community, I stopped doing it, because the only thing I go to Reddit for now is when the card like releases come out, because where I work, they block most of the internet, and Reddit is one of the few things I could still look at, and so I can go there and look at their card releases when they're coming out and hold it there. But like, other than that, it's all it is people complaining. And we've talked about it in my podcast, and it's a debate on if you scream loud enough on Reddit, you often get what you want, right? So
it kind of almost seems that way, doesn't it?
I mean, you think about it, just some of the things this year that happened with Reddit. They got the Death Knights removed from Arena. They got it's other things, but that was like the big example I could think of right now. But that was Reddit complaining. That was Crip and saying something, and then Reddit taking to that mantle and just complaining and whining and moaning enough that they nerfed it. Same thing with Spreading Plague. I know how much you love Spreading Plague, Dan, but you look at Spreading Plague, and it's never been a like super high win rate card, but people complained and about it on Reddit a lot, and it got into the state it's in now. See, it's a scary thing where people complain too much, and you go, well, can you get what you want when you complain too much? So
you're right there, Dan.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Are you?
I'm making Dan cry with my shenanigans.
Are you fading away? We don't want to lose you now.
No, I'm just. Oh boy, I'm just thinking about those games.
It's just bringing him bad memories, man. You're gonna kill him.
It's having man flashbacks. Man!
Taunt, no, another taunt, no.
That's why.
Get to wait. That's a taunt. No.
One of my least favorite decks ever is Quest Warrior in general. Like, I hate Quest Warrior because he's like taunt, Ragnarok's power, and it's just like, no.
I want to go face. You can't.
Taunt's such a weird mechanism in the game, and it's important and it's necessary, but man, it can be frustrating. So,
yes, yeah. Tell me about it.
Well, I think
we've about done a 3-hour show, friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. Thanks for having me. I know I talked on for longer than
all good.
He's a closing act, man.
Great show, and we've had good conversation.
Yeah, it's been. I always like talking with you guys, so it's fun. So.
We'll do it again.
And I have a big. By the way, I have a big screw you for WoW.Ben in chat because he's giving me crap because he's in the UHL with me and he beat me week 1 and he won't let it go. So Ben. So I'm gonna harass Ben back. So Ben is my official Twitter big brother who just likes to harass me and
these are the That Legend guys, right?
Yep. Yep. Exactly. He's one of the 8 players in the UHL, and he beat me week 1, and now he won't drop it. Like he's like he won $1 million, and he doesn't want me to forget it. So
fantastic,
awesome. Gotta love the community.
It's a
we do like to try and have a good time.
Yeah.
We do indeed.
Let's give you a chance to plug your stuff before we
plug
close this down.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the podcast is Tier 5, a Hearthstone podcast. It is Tier 5 podcast on Twitter with the number 5. It's tier5podcast@gmail.com if you guys want to send us an email. But subscribe, listen, download. We have a Discord, which is discord.me/tier5. And then my personal stuff is Rod_Johnston on Twitter. And my Twitch is twitch.tv/Rod_Johnston. So when I'm not doing things every night of the week, I'm gonna be streaming even more. But it's been very, very busy. So
I feel you, friend.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Cool.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
So we're moving on. Thank you, friend. We will talk with you soon.
Yeah, definitely. And whenever you guys,
I might be heading your way in April.
Dude, if you do, I will give you my number and we will hang out.
It's looking pretty good.
Cool, guys. Yeah, and if you ever need a guest, just let me know. I'll appear anywhere and anytime.
You never know when I'm going to have another family emergency and Fred's going to be scrambling last minute for someone. So
yeah. It's let me know. I like you guys see, I'm all over the place. I'm not ridiculous hat level, but I'm pretty close to there.
All right.
I'm with you, friend. Us ADD types got to stick together.
Yeah, but dude, before I go, I have a side note, and Dan, you'll appreciate this. I got we switched prescription plans for my work this year, and I got my first prescription refill of the year. It went from $8.50 per month to $72.
Ouch.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I got new stuff, too. I'm not sure what mine's going to be yet. So, yeah, I'll find out in a couple of weeks.
The Adderall is a controlled substance, and so it's a pain in the butt. So, okay,
yeah,
guys.
Hear you. Be easy, friend.
All right, thank you.
Okay, bye, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
See ya.
So, Dan, it's up to you. We got
another person that wants to come in?
I think so. You want to do it?
Hey, if we got one, let's do it.
Let's see if he's up to it.
Man. We're a couple of minutes away from 3 hours, so if we got one more, let's do it.
Let me check here if he's still up for the challenge. No. I have to accept it first. Let's see if he comes on. This is an audible.
Okay.
There he is. This is an audible, man. it's not on the schedule, but you sent me the request. I'm like, let's just do it. Let's get him on.
Well, I'm really glad that you guys are having me. I really wish the other guys from Coin Concede could make it, but I know everybody's pretty busy tonight. So I really just wanted to come on. You know, I'm pretty new to the community. I've only recently got back into Hearthstone for about 6 months now, but I've been listening to your guys' show kind of ever since I came back to it and been really enjoying it. You guys got something really special going on.
Well, thank you. Coin Concedes, one of the podcasts on my rotation. You guys come out there on those Saturdays, so yeah.
Hey,
I'm usually looking for something to listen to on Saturdays, so it's excellent.
You may be new, but the chat exploded. They're like, they went nuts like when you showed up. So it's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I'm really lucky. I feel like I just lucked my way into joining this community, and the response has been kind of overwhelming with how awesome everybody's been. So I've been working really hard to make sure that I'm trying to put out as good a content as I can. I wanted to say we tried to do a bonus episode where we kind of all played together, and man, it like you guys make it look so easy. I know you have 3 years of experience doing it, but we're trying to like explain everything as we're like drawing stuff. And I don't know, whenever I listen to your guys' episodes, I have like a pretty clear picture of what's going on, because I usually listen while I'm out on the road driving, and I can get a good sense of what's going on in the game. You guys do a really good job.
We try and do it like you're calling a baseball game.
Yeah, it took a while to kind of nail down the formula and the rhythm. You used to listen to some of those first episodes. They're a mess. And there's been ebbs and flows over time. You know, we've had internet problems and Dan's whole Irma crisis, and we've gotten kind of lazy on the calling because, you know, over time it's like, but we kind of always remember, hey, there's a lot of people out there that listen for that play-by-play because they can't look at a screen, and they're driving, or they're like Dan working outside and they have their headphones on, and we gotta focus on it, and we just kind of go back to the basics, and I think we have a good formula. But
I really like it because like you guys are almost a little similar to like Blister Guys podcast, and that you guys, you know, play through the actual games on the podcast, but I really like that you have like two different perspectives there. It gives a whole new level to kind of how everything works out.
Yeah. And then you said you're pretty new to the community, but over the last 2 or 3 months, I've had Bodica's decks in my collection. I have one right now. There's some.
Oh, really?
I think Blister Guy blasted one. I was like, all right, that looks good. Let's give it a shot. So
the combo dragon priest.
I think there was a zoo or something that I tried.
Oh, that one too.
Oh yeah. So you know.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really glad it's working, because I'm not really much of a deck builder per se. I pretty much try to take meta decks, and then I'll switch a card or two with what I think is going to be work, and then I put it through a bunch of games, and then usually by the time I've hit legend with it, I feel comfortable posting it, and other people have said that it's working out really well for them. So I'm glad it's working out for you too.
Yeah, you never know who's got your lists or whatever tweaks you made to it, and I mean, it's hard to say who's the father of a deck, but whoever I got it from, that's who I'm going to give credit to. So it's nice. Coming from you, so that's awesome.
Cool. So you want to tell us a little bit, in case, I don't know why anybody wouldn't know about Coin Concede.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so you guys have been running almost as long as we have. There was like a little bit of a break, but yeah, you're not that far behind us in episodes.
Yeah, we're like we just did 120 last week, so this week is coming up on 121, I believe. I've only been here for like the past 20 episodes, so like I'm trying to just keep up, because they had this whole process going, and I'm lucky that my friend had like a Blue Yeti I could borrow, and then we're like trying to figure out audio issues with my computer and everything, and trying to, you know, deliver the really high quality content that they're used to putting out there. And, you know, Ridiculous Hat does obviously just a ton of work making sure the, you know, the quality's there. Like, he's crazy, man. I don't know how he does it. And then, you know, Kenny's just really consistent, really got a really great host voice, and, you know, just been with the podcast since the beginning. You know,
he early on he helped me with some of the streaming setup and some of the audio stuff. I would talk to him about it, and so, you know, we try to help each other out. And you know, we've had our rash of audio issues and all that stuff that we've had to work through until we get to
that learning curve all podcasters go through.
I know. Yeah. To get the settings just right, and then you're like, don't touch it, don't update the machine, don't update the software, just leave it because it works.
Man. Yeah. Do you guys run off old Skype, or do you have like the new version of Skype?
I think I have the old one.
Okay, yeah. So that's the key, because I got the new one on my computer at first, and the settings on it, like trying to figure out settings and everything, they give you no options or anything. So we had to like download an older version so I can actually function correctly.
We started doing this on the Mac, and we had to use this thing for the audio, and then remember there was that OS update that just destroyed everything, and it was like there was echo. I mean, we'd been through it all, but we're at a place that is fairly stable, and we're very conservative with updating software and making like tonight we're not gonna try anything funny. We'll just keep it safe.
I had toyed with earlier in the evening trying to make a change with how I was going to do my Skype, and I'm like, no,
not tonight.
I'm going to leave this just like it is and not mess with it. So I was going to try and see if I could hook up my laptop so I could use a different pair of headphones, but I was like, we're supposed to start in about 20 minutes, and I'm like, nah, let's not try and re-hook up microphones to another computer right now.
Yeah, actually, the other week I ran out of space on my hard disk like halfway through the recording. So as we're recording, I had to like figure out how I could not make a ton of noise and like delete files. So there's like a 30-minute period where just they had to like go through and edit everything. But I think we're starting to get to a good point. I'm saving up for like a nice new mic so that my audio quality will be a little bit better. But yeah, I'm just really
these
lucky.
SM58, you can't go wrong.
Dan swears by them. Yep.
Oh yeah, they're a beast too. They can take a beating.
Yep. So anyway, Coin Concede is the podcast is the tagline is trying to make the competitive side of the game more accessible to you. So we do all of our coachings we have coachings through our Patreon. So anybody that donates at least $10 a month to our Patreon gets an hour of coaching every month, and they get to choose the host that they want the coaching from. And that's initially how I got started in the podcast. Is they're like, we have all these patrons that want coaching, and we don't have enough time between all of us to take care of all the coachings. So I came on as just to help out with coachings, because I won their first listener league, and I was hitting legend every month. So I offered, since I had a bit of time on my hands, to come help out with coachings, and it's actually improved my game a ton. Just going through with all these people every month, and everybody was super positive. I just got really lucky that they kind of brought me on to the cast full time.
Well,
and
y'all have a good chemistry with the setup that you have now. And even when you bring in Cora once in a while, when she has the time, it works real good.
Yeah, I love when Cora can come in. She's just so good at what she does with the commentary. It's kind of mind blowing. I don't know that it gets as much credit as it deserves, just because the right type of commentator can make someone inexperienced look so good in commentary when they have the experience, and she's just really good at that. So, and we've had some really great guests on recently. I'm pretty excited about the people we've had on, and little teaser, we have assuming nothing goes wrong, which I don't want to say too much. We have a pretty sweet guest coming on this Wednesday too. So
sweet.
All right, you guys do a live show?
Yeah, we do a live show Wednesdays at 7 Pacific.
7 Pacific.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm in California, and so funny story. Kenny went to the high school across from where I lived as a kid.
Oh, funny.
So yeah.
So he's not in California anymore, though, is he?
He is. He's just
is he? Okay.
He's more down towards, I think, Orange County, or down a little bit farther south of where I am. I'm a little north of LA, so.
Yeah, so it'd be like 10 p.m. and then like here.
Yes.
So there would be about to start.
Yeah. Well, actually, it works out because Hero Power is 7 Eastern.
Yeah. Yep.
So when I can, I try and catch some live shows. So yeah, it's about bedtime, but I might try and make some of those live ones. I love live shows. The the podcast has been giving me, I guess, my performance fixes. I haven't felt the need to go and work a show at the theater as much.
Okay.
Well, we made it 3 years, Dan. We got our Blizzard dev finally.
That was awesome too. I'm gonna go back and re-listen because I was just getting off work when the interview was kind of ending, so I was like listening to it in the car on the way home. But I'll definitely go back and listen to the whole thing.
It was fantastic. So
yeah, he gets into a real good discussion about why the I want to say prizes. Goodness gracious, for the dungeon runs are the way they are, and it made a lot of sense, and he made a good argument to it. So yeah, it was it was awesome having him on. It went well.
And he explained the process of how they interact to get those dungeon those missions put together. It's pretty cool. So I'm gonna cut that as a standalone for the video because it turned out really well. But then I'll have the full episode in audio as well. So
cool. Well, yeah. Thanks again so much. I know you fit me in at the end. I really appreciate you letting me come on and congratulate you guys because it's a real big accomplishment. Like I've only been doing it so long, and I can tell you that getting together every week and recording a podcast is not an easy thing to do. So seriously, congratulations, and definitely keep listening to you guys every week.
Thank you. It's like rain, shine. You're feeling good. You're feeling not so good. Sick. I've done sick episodes. You probably heard them. It's like the sniffles and all that stuff. But we make it through, and we hope to continue going. So thanks for stopping by.
Great, and if you ever need a little help, if you need me to come on or if you're looking for an extra guest, I'd always happy to come on other people's casts.
You'll probably be hearing from us.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I'm due for a family crisis. Hopefully not. I don't need any more deaths or accidents.
Hopefully not.
Soon. I could go a couple of years without any of those.
Yeah, I think you need a break from all this stuff, Dan.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So far, the beginning of the year, new house, new vehicle and stuff, getting married, things are starting off good. So.
Well, thanks for stopping by again, and please go check out his stuff. Good decks.
Yep, Coin Concede.
Coin Concede, the podcast.
CoinConcede.com. You can find the episodes there, all that stuff. If you want to see pretty much every month when I hit Legend, I'll post whatever deck I've been playing, and that's just at BoticusHS.
Mm-hmm.
Do you stream?
I stream. I don't have a schedule yet because with how I schedule my coachings, I can't really commit to anything. But that would just be twitch.tv/Boticus. That's pretty much where I'm at everywhere.
Yeah, so subscribe or whatever, and when he goes live, you'll know.
Yeah, great.
Yep, you get a notification if you follow him, and you can go check it out. So,
definitely appreciate any followers. Helps out a bunch.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, man.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good night.
Have a good rest of your night.
Okay, Dan.
Hey, buddy. Wow, man, we broke well over 3 hours.
That's it. We made it, Dan. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it went by quick.
I know.
Man, it seems like the interview with Dave just happened.
Oh, my goodness. I need to listen to that again. But, I forgot to say on the chat, I mean, it's been crazy all night.
Has it? I can't look. I couldn't. If I brought it up, I would just be here reading it all night. I wouldn't be paying attention to our guests or...
Oh, yeah.
So...
There's been a lot of people coming in. It's probably our most watched episode. Absolutely amazing. So... Now you're split in half a little bit, Dan, but that's okay.
Well, okay, I'll live.
Yeah, it's okay.
So we're going to bring this thing into a landing.
Yeah, Rusika says 3 hours for 3 years of work. That sounds about right.
Sounds about right.
Okay, so let's see. Where can you find us if you're here? You can find us at hearthcoach.net. You can write to us at hearthcoachpodcast@gmail.com. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and all the social medias at Hearthcoach. If you want to listen to us, use your most favorite podcatcher but iTunes is the most popular one. Apple Podcasts. We're on Google Play, Stitcher. Keep those reviews coming. We love to get them in iTunes, and they help us compete against that sea of 40-plus podcasts that are out there fighting for the top ranks. We
managed to stay up there.
We're still up there, but every little bit helps. So your downloads, your subscribes, and your reviews, above all, help us get there. And the more we keep getting found, the more things we can do. And maybe now, we've had a developer on. We could continue bringing more cool guests. Our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/hearthcoach. Did I miss anything, Dan?
No, friend. I think the only thing left to do is thank everybody for showing up tonight. It's been an awesome 3 years, and here's to another 3 or more years. And good luck getting to legend, everybody.
Good luck, everybody, and good night.